Hey everyone, welcome to this video on paid marketing strategy course. Have you ever wondered why some ads seem to follow you everywhere online? You search for a pair of shoes once and suddenly the same brand appears on Instagram, YouTube, Google, and even the websites you visit. That's not a coincidence. That's paid marketing strategy in action. Today, companies are no longer waiting for customers to find them. Instead, they use data targeting and smart advertising strategies to reach the right person at the right time with the right message. A small startup can now compete with global brands by running highly targeted ads. An e-commerce store can reach thousands of potential buyers in a single day, and a well-planned campaign can turn a simple ad into thousands of clicks, leads, and real customers. This is not just advertising anymore, it's a strategic paid marketing. Paid marketing has completely transformed how businesses grow online. Instead of hoping people discover their products, brands now use platforms like Google Ads, Facebook Ads, Instagram Ads, LinkedIn Ads to directly reach their ideal audience. And the most powerful part is the same advertising tools used by companies like Amazon, Netflix, Nike are available to anyone. Whether you're a marketer, a business owner, freelancer, or someone planning to build a career in digital marketing. But the real questions are, how do companies design paid campaigns that actually convert? Why do some ads generate thousands of sales while others completely fail? And how do marketers create paid marketing strategies that deliver real business results? Now, that's exactly what you're going to discover in today's course. So, before we begin, let's quickly look at what we'll be covering. First, we'll understand what paid marketing strategy is and why it has become one of the most powerful growth tools for businesses today. Second, we'll explore the major advertising platforms, including Google Ads, Facebook Ads, Instagram Ads, LinkedIn Ads, and understand how each platform works. Third, we'll learn how marketers identify and target the right audience to make campaigns more effective. Next, we'll discuss how businesses plan budgets, design campaigns, and optimize ads for better performance. And finally, we will understand how paid marketing helps businesses generate leads, increase conversions, and scale their growth online. Just a quick information, if you want to become a digital marketer, I highly recommend checking out this AI-powered digital marketing certificate program from SP Jain School of Global Management and Simplilearn. This is a 5-month online course that teaches you everything you need to know about modern digital marketing, and it's designed specifically for the AI era we are living in right now. The best part is, you will be learning how to use AI tools like ChatGPT, Canva, SEMrush, along with 50 other marketing tools that companies are actually using today. This isn't just theory, you'll get live interactive classes with real professors from SP Jain Global, work on 7 hands-on projects with mentor support, and study over 15 real-world case studies. The course covers everything from SEO, social media marketing, email campaigns, analytics, automation. What really makes this course stand out is that you'll get free Meta and Google Ad credits to practice with so you can run actual campaigns and see real results. So what are you waiting for? Hurry up and enroll now. The course link is mentioned below. Before we get started, here's a quick quiz question for you. Which platform is primarily used for intent-based paid advertising, where businesses show ads when users search for specific products or services? Your options are Google Ads, Instagram Reels, Microsoft Excel, or Canva. Take a moment to think and let me know your answers in the comment section below. So without any further ado, let's get started.
So today I believe we are here for a session of strategies for paid campaign. Right now, this is something like one could share a few of the nuances, some experiences, what are the things to be taken care of. So nothing as such in terms of uh, like practically approach campaign is different, right? And every industry is different. Every setup that you do, every ad group that you create, every campaign that you put, every platform that you choose to do the campaign is different, right? And as such, we have discussed in detail about how to do paid campaigns on Google, how to do paid campaigns on Meta and social media platforms, for example, also LinkedIn. Right, we have discussed all of those things. Practically, we went to these platforms, discuss each other as each of the aspects to design a campaign over there. How to do that? How to uh, use it to the maximum potential of it, so to get maximum gain out of it. Optimize it in what way we could optimize in each platform. How each of these platforms differentiate from each other. How the paid campaign on Google search is different from video advertisements or the video campaigns, and how the paid campaigns on Meta differentiate from Google itself, and how all of that differentiate from Google display network itself, right? So all of that we have done. Now this specific short course, which is for 3 days, if I'm not wrong, strategies for paid campaign, is about not about now going back to the tool and how to do that and what and in what sense, right? Because this is very subjective, but this course is rather to refresh and also to share experiences, to engage in a dialogue that what could there are few things, few nuances, few steps that we could take, and we should few things that we must be aware of before we designing a campaign to make it better. Now it can varies from industry to industry, it can varies from campaign to campaign, but there are few things which we must know depending upon the size, depending upon the quantity, depending upon the budget, depending upon the industry sector, or any of these things. But there'll be few things which if we as a marketer will be well versed with, are well aware of, and then we uh, start to begin our campaign, start to spend money on any of the campaigns or any of the category or product or brand or services, would be better for us. Instead of burning money, we could get some fruitful results out of it. So this entire subject matter is for that. Why I've given this one monologue is to at least bring clarity that what you could expect from this strategies for paid campaign session. Make sense to everyone? Is it absolutely clear to all of you? Okay, great. Now, once that's being said, uh, before we begin, if you guys have any questions about any of the previous topics that we have covered so far, I believe we have covered quite a few from SEO to SEM, SMM, and all sort of things. If there is any doubt or any random query, also anything that you have in mind, anything that you want to share, anything that you want to speak about, or want the public overall to know over here, please do let me know, and then we will proceed further. If there is anything, and if there is any input needed from my side, would be great. If it's just something that you want to share, that also is well accepted. And if there's nothing, then we are good to go. This is what we are here for to discuss, and hopefully we will bring a value to it. I'll try to share some experiences, some basic input, some basic stuff that we must know before we set up a campaign, how it works and what it works, what all things we need to do, rather. Right. As I said, it's a macro aspect about the paid campaigns because it's largely, we are not talking about how to go for a campaign and design and all sort of things. It's by and large, we are talking about some of the macro aspects that play a role, that plays a role when we are doing a campaign, right? When we are setting up a campaign, right? And it's largely about, if you remember, we have covered SEO and SEM, which is called, and then SMM. So one part of that is organic, right? Organic means search engine optimization, and then also the strategies for that is organically building traffic, organically driving traffic to your content, to your website, to whatsoever that you're creating, right? And that is different strategies altogether. How to do that, what to do that, those are different things. Right now we are talking about excuse me. Right now we are talking about strategies for paid campaign, which means first we are spending money to get traffic, we're spending money to get leads, we're spending money to get the tractions on our website, platforms, apps, or whatsoever we are targeting upon. And then the strategy to emphasize the fact that whatever that money could bring to me can bring in better numbers. So whatever money we are spending, if it has a potential to get X amount of reach, lead, or whatsoever, what are different things that we could do that will then help me enhance the reach, right? And that's why I said it's a macro aspect. Few elements, few basic things we could do. And then by the nature of it, it's become inorganic. At the top, by means of paid campaigns and ads, right? So inorganically, of course, we are doing this. Inorganic means whenever you have to pay to achieve better ranking, to get better than the competition. And then what are the other strategies that we have at a play over here? So let's see some slides into this deck, and then I'll start sharing some of the aspect from my side as well, and we will then cumulatively make a worthwhile session today. Strategies for paid campaign. As I said, this is what the topic over here is: introduction of paid campaigns. So by the end of this session, most likely we'll be able to know that what is the role of paid campaign in the maximizing result of online media advertisements, identify the process, and define the conversion funnel. We'll see to it till what we could reach, right? And the first thing first is, when it comes to paid campaign, of course, it is about understanding the customers itself, right? And this is what the topic today we will dedicate to, and we will try and understand in the larger sense that what all things we should know in advance before we set up a campaign. And there are a few things which I have explained quite a few times already, which we have emphasized upon quite a few times already. But today, it's since the session is dedicatedly for that, we'll understand that more in deep, right? Now, what does it mean to have inorganic ranking at the top, right? Uh, the basic idea that what all strategy we should be doing it, right? To get maximum output or traffic, maybe clicks, maybe conversions, or whatever the goal you have, achieve our goal with the best possible campaign from less most cost. This entire strategy building is only for that we should get maximum output, traffic, clicks, impressions, conversions, or whatsoever we want to, and at a most optimized cost or least money that you could spend, and maximum output that we can get, right? Now there'll be few things that we must know or we must do. There are few things we must focus upon. There are few things we must should know, and then to get this maximum output. Any idea what are the things we should be pre-ready with? We should be pre aware of before we set up a campaign. What are the few things prior understanding, prior starting or burning our money, prior starting to build up a campaign? What are the few things? This entire topic is all about that. What are the few things that we must be aware of, clear in our mind before we set up a campaign, before we do a paid campaign? And in that, the first thing that I always say is the metric that we need to capture. Because since remember, it is a paid campaign, right? It is the paid campaign, and if you don't know that what you and that covers under the objective itself, if we don't know what we want to measure as a successful campaign, we don't know, we will never be able to know that even if it's working or not working. If your goal is to get more reach, and then you're measuring the success of a campaign by the lead that you have converted, it will always looks like a failure of failed campaign. And that's why the objective is very important, or more precisely the matrix. We have to be clear, because in while setting up a campaign, you can set multiple metrics. Remember, you can go for cost per click, cost per impressions, leads, reach, whatsoever. Same is with the social media campaigns. You can have multiple inventories where you can run the campaign, and multiple ways to measure that. But if you don't know that what exact metric you want to measure, what exact metric defining which will define the success or the failure of a campaign, you will always keep on burning the money without knowing that what had happened, right? So what does metric means is that what is the importance of it should be clear, that what we want to capture, right? And if the measurement of that defines the success or the failure of the campaign. Always remember that. Right? Like for example, what are the few for my campaign? What are the most important matrix? Right? It could be for me CTR. Now you all are aware of CTR rate. If I explain anyone who would like to explain that, it's kind of a refresher as well. So CTR, right? Now for me, for the success of the campaign, I want to measure the success of the campaign not because of the not on the basis of leads that I've generated, not based on the sales that I've done, not based on the acquisition that I've done. I want to measure if I'm running a campaign, I'm a new brand, and I want to measure what kind of CTR rate from X amount of money that I've invested. Uh, what is the CTR rate that I'm able to achieve will define the success of the campaign. So I'm clear in my mind that CTR rate is something that I want to measure, and then the entire backward integration will happen based on the CTR rate because I need maximum CTR, which means I need more impressions and a good amount of that impression getting converted into clicks, and accordingly I will design the campaign. Right, designing the campaign plays a very important role. You design a campaign differently to convert. You design a campaign differently to get sales. You design a campaign differently to get more leads. You design a campaign to get more reach. You design a campaign to get more clicks. You design a campaign differently to get more impressions, right? Because the color scheme, the banners, the visual aspect, the copy, the taglines, the headlines, the descriptions, everything differs. Everything changes as we define that what you need to measure. So always be clear that what you want to measure, what are the metrics that you want to capture for a particular campaign, and and then accordingly the designing of the campaign changes. If I have not decided that and then I've just randomly put a campaign and I don't know what to measure, and I'm measuring everything and anything, I will not be able to bring a conclusive output out of it, and then the entire maybe the campaign is running and keep on burning, but I'm clueless, and then I'll just re-release the campaign again and again and again and remain in the dark. While addressing that, nobody yet explain me what is CTR, and I have covered that topic earlier. Ratio, I guess, I guys, if you are attending the lectures, please be attentive. These things I have explained earlier, ratio of click to impressions. And I will cover this again in the analytics session, but we will talk about that right now. So if I want to measure the matrix and this particular matrix that I want to capture, I let's say I want to desire the success of a campaign on basis of CTR, then I would know that what is the category standard as per the campaign type, as per the industry type, and then then I will see that what am I able to achieve as per the industry standard or not? Am I able to spend as per the industry standard, as per the campaign type, what kind of campaign I've done, whether it's a search campaign, whether it's a display campaign, whether it's a social media campaign, and what usual CTR rate through each of the campaigns. So as per the standards of the category, as per the standard of the campaign type, if I'm able to achieve the CTR rate as per the average standard, my campaign is successful, right? Then there is very common thing when we talk about strategy of for paid campaign is the conversion rate and the conversion ratio, right? Always try to make it better from the past, what you have done today, and let's suppose you are running, of course, at the end of the day, any business is running to focus more on the conversions to bring more sales, to bring some numbers to the kitty, right? So the conversion rate, we will be talking about all these numbers analytics part when we'll have an analytical session, but I'm just adding few for the example. Let's say conversion rate is nothing but, let's say, total sales divided by total visits or total number of interactions, and so like this so that the formula looks better, multiplied by 100. So Let's say if I have 10 sales out of total inquiries or the total visits happen is 1000. So my conversion rate is around 1%, right? So just an example. Now, the conversion rate is very important metric when you talk about success of a campaign, because or a strategies for paid campaign, because your conversion rate, if you have able to achieve certain conversion rate out of a campaign that you've done in the beginning, getting the insight from that, you can make it better. And seeing that if there are two ad campaigns with a different copy, different headline, different tagline, which one is delivering better conversions? And if one of that is building better, if one of there are multiple aspects. Let's say one of that is driving more visits but less sales. One of the campaign is average visits, but the conversion is higher. Of course, in one I'm getting more reach, more people, like more impressions, but that is not getting converted. The other one is getting moderate impressions, moderate reach, but the conversion rate is high. And then that's why then we have to decide whether we want to continue with the A or B, because the A is giving more and more reach to me. Of course, the conversion ratios for some reasons is bad. Then we have to identify why it's more reach but less in conversion. The other one is moderate reach but getting converted better, which means bringing more money in my system. So conversion ratio at times become very dicey, because you have to then decide whether you want to go for the reach or stay with the reach, or you have to focus on the conversions. If an ideal scenario, anybody would like more conversion, so then see that why it is having a less reach. Why, if we can maximize the reach of this campaign equal to the first one, which is having a much more reach but less conversion. If we get conversion in this one better, the reach in this one better, the conversion will also increase accordingly, right? So the conversion rate, CRO, conversion rate optimization, is a very important matrix when it talks about strategies for paid campaign, right? So at the end of the day, basically you need to understand the metric, you need to know the success. You need to define your own success by what metric that on you or the customer that you're working for, right? And then the second most important aspect is about, if I'll talk about, is user persona, or the target audience. The target audience. And I have said many a times before that before doing anything, you need to know this. You need to know your audience, and there is no shortcut to it. There is no shortcut to it at all, because without knowing your audience, there will be nothing that you could do. You may be targeting for X, Y, Z, and your audience is ABC, then your entire campaign will go for a failure, right? Knowing your audience, it's easy to say that I know your audience, and then how many times you might have heard of this, that your product is still not able to find its fit in the market. What does that fit means? It means that it doesn't able to define its target audience. It doesn't able to find the right kind of audience who will be picking this product or who will be buying this product. And that's very, very important. It looks a small topic when it comes to paid campaign, but most of the campaigns or the most of the brands spend burning their money, millions of their rupees, doing everything right, but just targeting the wrong audience, or maybe targeting multiple diverse audience, which is not the right fit for them. And they will do that mistake. Before jumping on to doing a campaign, see, digital marketing is a great tool. It will always give you numbers, but you do nothing, you just run a campaign randomly, you pay money and you will get numbers. That is assured, because at the end of the day, somebody will searching for it, somebody will looking for an ad, somebody will looking for a reel, some reels on the Facebook or Instagram, or stories on the Facebook and sort of things, right? You will get numbers, but will that number that you get is of any use? Will that number is of strategic use for you? Is that number is a real target for you? Is that number bring any added value to your brand? Is what matters. So it's a very, people say that I get numbers, but is that number relevant? That's where the biggest problem is. And that's why it said that things you should know before you're doing this part, right? You should be clear on this part, and in this part comes the matrix, and then the most important part is called knowing your audience, or know your right. It could be based on multiple factors. What are the factors? I would like to hear from you all, and then we'll go further in this and make it more interesting. What are the factors in when it comes to target audience or knowing your audience, right? Anyone? Buying behavior, okay. Anyone else? Age, okay. Rightly so. So you can define your audience, and why I'm doing that, I'll let you know. We'll also might do an exercise. Just now I thought we could do an exercise around this, right? Uh, you could know your audience basis on, of course, as you all said, demographics, geography, SEC classification, behavior, usage pattern, their interest. Now, some of I'm mixing it. Some of it is based on the SEO part. Some of it based, sorry, search engine marketing part. Some of it might be based on social media part. But at the end of the day, it's all about paid campaigns, timing, right? Now, you have to trace all these things about the audience that you are targeting. Locations, yeah, Krishna, I mentioned demographics, geographic, classification of the audience based on income levels in the groups, behavior of theirs on the online, on the digital platforms, their usage pattern, their interest, what time of the day they are most active, and sort of things. And based on all these factors, what you do is you build a buyer's persona. This is a very important factor called buyer's persona, and there is a huge amount of money spent building this by the brands, that they want to build their ideal users buyer persona. Heard of this term, anyone? Buyer's persona, right? Now what does buyer persona means? Quickly. Taste and preference. Buyer's persona largely means, yeah, it's as I believe Sarthak has mentioned, a buyer persona. So most of the companies spend money to do the research, to do all those things, to do product feeding, product seedings initially, spend money to understand the customer behavior pattern, their problems, their ideal solutions, what they prefer, what they do not prefer. And at the end of the day, they build an idealistic personality, right? And that buyer persona is nothing but a map of a perfect customer's life, problems and dreams, the customer that buy product. So what are their problems, what are their solutions, and a map of the entire, like an idealistic personality who will be 100% buying your product is called buyer's persona, right? Make sense to everyone over here? Yeah. Okay. Now let's say we'll talk about this biased persona in time to come for now. But let's say that if you are a totally new in the market, if you are a startup or you are totally new, this is your first time ever you're creating something, you're manufacturing something, or you're building a brand, or you're building a product, and you want to. So then you don't have any of these data with you right now, right? You just have a product. In that case, what would be the ideal way to, or would be the way to find that which audience or which type of audience would preferably be buying your products? What are the ways to understand? Sampling, okay, and competition customers, very rightly said Sheetal, and that's what we should, all the brands. That's why if you remember, I often mention this, right? I've mentioned these things. Okay, Jitendra, one second. One second, I'll unmute you, Jitendra. I often mention these things like, if you watch these shows like uh, Dragon's Den or Shark Tank and whatnot, they often ask you that what's the buyer persona of yours, or what is the competition, or what is the product market fit. You must have heard these kind of jargons in these shows, right? So the point is that the free sampling problem is that, not the problem. Most brands does that when the sampling happens at the mass level, like you're launching a shampoo right now. Sampling of that can be done in a very great way to the larger set of India, pan India. How? You just need to put a sachet into a newspapers in the morning, and let's suppose you have a 10 million or 20 million subscription of that newspaper. A sachet will reach to all these households, and people will use it. And then you are a fruit drink. You can have a 5 rupee fruit drink, make a stall at multiple locations and do that. Then the sampling is right. If it's a expensive commodity, then the free sampling will be very limited. And in that case, you'll always hear till it's free, you can get to know that, yeah, it's good, it's fine, perfectly fine. The problem happens when, if they have to spend the real money into it, right, you may not get the right feedback. And that's why I said, if you're a startup, if you have none of these data, right, the best possible way way to get these done is competition. Somebody already mentioned that, or industry research. Right? Now, how to do that? That's also how to, any idea how to do that competition and industry research? How to fragment that? What are the ways? See, why you might be thinking why we are learning all those things, because the paid campaign comes much later, right? Before that, we all have to have these ideas what all to be done. Once we have the clarity on all those things, what is the competition, what is my what is my bias persona, what are these ABCD and everything else, and then organically what we have achieved, and then comes the paid campaign. And that's why it's called strategies for paid campaign. Before you jump to the conclusion that now is the time you should spend money on my product to get the traffic, things that we need to do and you should be ready with, right? Now, the best way in terms of competition and the industry research is, see, in any sector, right, they are, let's suppose you, and how to do the competition or the industry research in any sector you pick, right? In any category of the product, in any sector, there'll always be a top player, right? There'll always be top players in that category, which means in any category or the market, there are few top players with highest market share, highest brand acceptability, know-how, whatever you call it. And then comes the mass player, right? And the others in between. Am I right in saying so? Do you think I'm correct in saying so that in any category you pick, there'll always be a top player, there'll be one mass player, and there'll be then all other players in between. Like, for example, as you guys have said, let's take an example of mobile phones again. So let's say, for sake of saying it, let's say that Apple is the top player in the market in terms of, yeah. So the Apple is, let's suppose iPhone are the top players in the market, in the category with the highest market share. And then comes the mass player, which I could easily say, let's say Samsung maybe, because they have a huge reach in terms, or huge product size in terms of starting from 10,000. Also they have a product 10 to 15,000, goes up to 1.5 lakhs, which is the top end phone of Samsung, which is equivalent to iPhone or maybe even much better than that, right? So they have a huge range and they have a mass player. They are targeting each and every sector of the audience. They are targeting each and every factor over here. Samsung. So the top player may be iPhone, the mass player is the Samsung, and the others in between is maybe you can call it all other phones, maybe Vivo, Oppo, Realme, Redmi, Xiaomi, OnePlus, and all other brands, right? Now, if you are not able to figure it out, what could be your buyer's personality? If you are not able to figure out how to market or how to approach that, then you have to analyze in the category that you are into, who is the top player, right? Who is the top player in that category, and then whom they are targeting in terms of demographics, in terms of geography, in terms of SEC classification, in terms of behavior, in terms of usage pattern, and everything else, and on which platform they are targeting and how they are targeting it, right? So you have the primary level analysis done for the top players, why they are top players, what they do in terms of their marketing, whom they are targeting, how they are targeting, where they are targeting, which platform they are targeting, and what amount of money they are spending. That's one. Then you go to the second, which is the mass player. In our case, in our case, that example that you've taken, let's say Samsung. Now you notice that the tonality of either of the sectors that you pick, right? Most often you see the top player will have a different level of communication or different layer of communication, or the targeting or the kind of campaign then they do. The mass player usually will have a different tone in their writing skills, will have a different tone in their advertisements, will have a different tone in their paid campaigns, right? So then you have to analyze the mass player. How do they do it? What kind of communication they are doing? What kind of behavior, target audience, demographic, geography they are targeting, and how they are able to do that? And then the last, the clutter area, where is everything else fits in from the top and the mass, everything else fit in. What they are majorly focusing upon, what they are targeting, what they are speaking about, how they are targeting, and everything else that you need to do, right? So if you're totally new product, totally new brand, totally new startup, how to do know your start with understanding your buyer's personality, to understand the competition in the industry. How to understand the competition in the industry? To know the top players, to know the mass players, and the others in between, and how they do that and what they do, right? Now, and accordingly their tone of communication, what kind of communication they are doing, whom they are targeting, and everything else, right? Now, knowing these things will help me. First, knowing this will help me at least understand that where does my product fit in, whether we could be one of the top players in the market, whether we could be the mass player, or we are something substantially, maybe these two groups are very big, fit in the other group, the third group, right? And take the larger chunk over there, or we are none of these, because we are not talking about either of what they are doing, and we are definitely creating a different category altogether, or a subcategory altogether within an industry, right? That this entire research will give that clarity. So all these things, knowing all these things, first thing this thing, and also the competition, will help in multiple ways. How? The first is, it helps to targeted campaigns. How you know that? Now I am able to, it helps me to, because the campaign is something that where we spend money, it's not organic, right? And if the better the campaign, the targeted the campaign, the specific pinpointed the campaign is, the less money I will be spending and the more output I will be getting, right? So knowing all these things, knowing your buyer's persona, knowing your brand personality, knowing your competition, and where do we fit in all of this, will help me design a much sharper or better targeted campaign. Secondly, it also helps if you are a bundle, or if you are just a dummy or a prototype right now, or you just testing the market, or you have not yet, it's like pre-money, or you have not yet uh, 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 launch the product, you have a prototype ready, you want to get ready for, but before that, and you want to do a campaign to promote that product, but before that you have done all those things. It will help to tweak and make changes according to whom you're supposed to target, and whether what you have created is what they want or they want something else, and you can make change accordingly. And among the players, where do you fit, what is missing, or you want to align with any of these players, or you want to be different, or what is missing in the market and what you can offer accordingly. Then you can make changes in the product itself before you campaign and project that a big product, or project that something on a huge level. In terms of paid campaign, you can make those changes early in the stage so that you can save a lot of money, right? So it helps. First, it helps to define the target audience more clearly, to target campaigns. It helps in developing product better. And then, who will explain me this? Effective resource allocation. If we know these things, if we just know things before the paid campaign we are doing, effective resource location allocations. Anyone? It's easy one, right? If you know all these things, you know that what amount of money will go to this, what amount of money will go to this, which of the platform will, what would the percentage on which platform. If I have 100 units to promote, if I have 100 rupees to promote, what percentage of that to which unit or which product, and what percentage of that should be on which platform, targeting which of the user pattern or the user type and everything else. So you can effectively then allocate the resources more smartly. You are not burning all your money on one product on one platform, or all the money on one platform, or x 10 number of products, but you can define your products accordingly, that this platform, this target audience, this product fits better, and to achieve x amount of reach, or x amount of conversion, or x amount of impressions, this x plus y is the amount of money that I need to spend. And accordingly, I have three different products, three different platforms, three different type of target audience, and then where do I need to allocate resources in terms of money, in terms of time, in terms of development of product, in terms of understanding the market, right? So knowing just these basic elements will help you do the effective resource allocation. Then, now, in the example of ours in this, do you all feel that there's a difference between an ad campaign from a Vivo, from OnePlus, from Apple, and from Samsung? There's a the kind of ad this you see, the paid advertisement that you might see on digital platforms as well are different, right? Kind of different, yes, in every sense. And that in a way also explains their positioning, in a way that explains their where do they stand and whom they are targeting, right? It always very easy to figure it out from the campaign itself, right? So they does it like before run, after running a campaign they get to know, no, they get to know before that where they are positioned themselves, and then accordingly the campaign, right? And then the most important factor, that is, you might have heard this question if you are a startup, or if you don't have any idea, or you've not done all of these things, is that it help me know my product and the, excuse me, the market fit, which is the most important thing in the times we are to know about our product. It helps me to know my product and what is the market fit for my product if I know all of these things over there. And then if I know this, I would know how to, right? So help me know my product, the market fit, and how to position my brand. Very importantly, that if I know my target audience, if I know my competition, if I know the kind of if I know then what is my target audience, if I know what product I have developed, knowing all those factors, if I know how I've allocated the resources. I have a competition edge. It will help me to make my positioning very clear and also help me get to know the market fit. And in that market fit, how I need to position myself, how I need to position my brand using my nothing but USP, or it helps me to find at times knowing these pre-stages of paid campaigns also help me get to know the USP of my product itself. At times when you analyze this, okay, where if in all these patterns, if there is any problem in any of the category of the audience I'm targeting, or if there is any problem in the industry itself, or there's a lag, or there's something missing, and if my product has it, at times knowing these things will help me finding the USP for my product itself, and then accordingly I can create a differentiator and go for the paid campaign in a much clearer and better way. Now, those who don't know what is USP, I'm sure everybody knows it, but just for sake of it, it's called unique selling proposition, or in short, you can say the differentiator, or how you can differentiate your product from others. Now, what could be the USP? Anyone, what could be the USP for a product? If you have anything in mind, let me know. Right. And now so knowing these things help me know these things and do these things. Understanding all of these things better will help me define the positioning of my product, right? And the positioning explains everything in all ways. Positioning is something that if you're able to position your brand, if you position your brand, then half the job is done. Then you know that which sector, area, field, agent, audience you fit now, and the product is not going anywhere. It will do sales without you doing anything, right? Now, sustainable in the long run. Okay, so if I conclude all of these things, and then if I am now making a campaign, I can say it in one line that all of this understanding help me understand. If I also figured out the USP, knowing the research, the industry research, the audience research I have done, I know the USP. I know I have make my market fit. I understand that which audience it will be fit better. I can then finally make a paid campaign, and I can say how and what way, to whom I need to pitch my product and its. If does this one line explains everything? Great. Now, when it comes to USP, never ever, and now a few times I've seen a campaign as well, and a few times whenever I get in a dialogue with few people at some seminars, and also like during normal college or university visits, the usual answer comes is that you can pricing is our USP. Don't go, never go pricing as your USP, and pricing can never be your USP. As you might have now these days, people are much aware, people have seen all these shows and everything else, and pricing can never be an USP, right? Why do I say so? Pricing can never be an USP, and if you're launching a product, or if you want to position your product somewhere, never go for the pricing as a USP. That my low pricing is my USP. Why do I say so? You can't sustain based on pricing. And also, and a very very classic case of this, Bharat Pay. Are you aware of Bharat Pay? Yeah, it can be changed over a period of time, and I'll give you. It can be copied by competitors, yes, And that's why I'm saying, have you heard of this Bharat Pay example? Yeah, Bharat Pay is nothing but this QR code. If I'll just go to Google for the like this Bharat Pay QR code for to at retail stores, which supposed to have all the logos because it's like one QR code for all the kind of payments for Paytm to Google Pay to everything else, right? This is Bharat Pay. Right now, what happened is when the owners started before that, the Paytm and those who are not from India. So this is like uh, uh, online payment gateway wherein you can scan the QR code and make a payment. It's one of the easiest payment mode ever, right? So what happened is Paytm and Phone Pay and everything else, all these other payment gateways of before Bharat Pay happened, was there, and they used to charge 2% of each transaction to the retailers. The retailer, because it's a convenience, they are providing at the retailer store. So 2% of each transaction the retailer used to pay for to these companies. When Bharat Pay come into a play, and they said since Phone Pay has its own QR code and Paytm has its own machines and sort of things. Why can't we have a system wherein one QR code work for everybody else, like one machine or one code which works for everybody and anybody, and that's how the entire setup happened. So when they were starting, they said we will keep, since they are charging 2% of the transaction, we will keep 1% of the transaction, and right. And then Ashneer Grover, if you may be aware of, was the one of the later co-founder of the company, right? It was not, the idea was from the IITians, and then they wanted somebody for marketing, and they hired Ashneer as one of the co-founder, right? And then he said that if we go for from 2% to 1%, it doesn't solve the problem for the retailer, right? Because tomorrow the somebody will make it 0.99% or then 0.9%, and then we can do 0.8%, and then somebody we can do it 0.78%. In decimals, they can keep on playing, and then they will forever be trapped in this some percentage game and never be able to become a differentiator or define its positioning very clear or define its USP very clear, because you are just doing the same thing. You are also doing the charging, but just a lesser cost that can easily be replicated by anybody else, right? And that's when they decided to launch it for free. Like, we are not, there's no transaction charges, we will earn in some other ways, but we want to bring in ease and convenience to the users, right? So USP can never be the lower pricing, can never be the USP. Don't go for pricing. I'll write it down if need be over here, because most of the time people do this mistake. Pricing is a very good tool to market, and we will learn also how to, but it can't be your USP. A very good example of uh, a very good example of trying to make pricing as a USP, and one of the biggest conglomerates, with all huge respect, right? And not that they are not aware of, might be something other things happened, but from my understanding, this also was one of the very important uh, key factors in the fall of a brand that I'm going to talk about is, and a very good example of wherein their entire focus was on pricing and trying to make a USP and positioning based on the pricing, and it failed. A very good example is of Tata Nano car. How many of you are aware of this, right? This is a classic example of when a brand try to make pricing or low pricing as its USP, right? And I will talk about it, if you are allow me, for a minute or two, and explain how a big conglomerate, a big brand, a big aspirational product failed for many reasons, but also the low pricing, keeping low pricing as its USP was not sustainable, and it drops, it failed over there. Or if one of you want to add some points to it before I do, please let me know. Excuse me. Anyone? See, if you all remember, I don't, if it was time of 2005, 6, if I'm not wrong, or maybe little later than that, or maybe little earlier than that, right? When the Tata launched this entire Nano project, and this is 1 lakh rupee car, if I'm not wrong, right? Or 2 lakh rupees whatsoever. I believe it was 1 lakh rupee car, which was the idea. And the India's cheapest car is something, smallest car, cheapest car is something what they started to promote upon. Now the problem with that is, first, the moment you say that it's 1 lakh rupee car or kept pricing as your tagline, you have to stay by that. Now, when you announced in an automotive, there's a lot many raw materials keeps on need to be utilized, and the pricing keeps on going, right? So it was very much clear that after the first batch, Tatas will not be able to keep up with the price. It's not possible because the steel cost, the raw material cost, the batteries, the engines and everything else becoming expensive. Right? So they will not be able to continue then promoting the cheap 1 lakh rupee car or the cheap car or something like that. The second problem happen is the user mindset itself. Now let's say we are talking about 2005 or 6. You are selling a car for 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh, whatever the price, let's say, is, right? Those who have the capacity to spend 1 lakh, those who are in, which means you are not targeting anybody who is not having a 1 lakh rupees, the extreme poor. So, with all due respect, you are not targeting that. Now, anybody think of this way apart from some people? See, in India is a very aspirational country, right? People do aspire to bigger things. Yeah. So people don't, as I said, it's a very, India is an aspirational country. Sarthak also mentioned that already. India is a very aspirational country. Now imagine this. In 2005, you have to spend 1 lakh on a car and still be considered as somebody who is driving the cheapest product in the category, which means you are at the lower bottom of the pyramid of this entire cycle, right? You are at the lower bottom, which is the lowest, and it won't give you a proud feeling. It will give you a demeaning feeling, right? That you are the cheapest. You are using the cheapest product in the entire chain, although you have spent 1 lakh rupee car, 1 lakh on that. And who would be moving from of in 2005 from transforming from to this car? Those who are already driving bikes. That's how the transition happened in India. People were riding cycles, then they started riding scooters, then motorbikes, and then the penetration of car happened, right? Now imagine that individual who can spend 1 lakh in 2005. He could buy the most expensive bike, or the most, what you call, articulated best possible engine bike in India. And when once he drives that bike on the road, he will be considered as the top of the pyramid, some, and creating a wow factor for himself. Wow, he's driving the most expensive bike that is available in India. The same amount of money, one brings him at the bottom of the pyramid, the other commodity brings him at the top of the pyramid. The other, the buying a bike of 1 lakh rupee will make him somebody who is like what you call the trendsetter, and spending same 1 lakh rupee buying a 1 lakh rupee car will making him the cheap buyer, right? So the mentality, the mind game, that's one part. And that's why pricing, not imagine at one, whatever the cost was, Tata Nano was, after the first batch they were not able to maintain it any which ways in 1 lakh rupee car. They just sell some unit, and then the price increased to roughly around 2.5 lakhs to 3 lakhs. In 2005, Maruti Alto also happened to be costing around 3.5 or something. Maruti used to still sell huge number of units, and after the first few batches, Tata Nano failed. because they continue to say cheapest car in India. The pricing difference was hardly any. While Maruti 800 was focusing upon more on mileage, and it's like India's first car, and all other aspirations value along with 800. While the Tata Nano was still selling the cheapest car in India, howsoever the composition was the same. And that's what family car, first car, efficient car, fuel efficient car, whatsoever you talk about. The price difference was hardly any. There's marginal difference in the second batch of Tata Nano and Maruti 800. So there's not much of price difference, but price, the positioning difference, right? While one choose pricing to be their position, the other choose differently. One still runs in the on Indian roads, the other one discarded long back. Can you make the difference? Yeah. So that's why pricing can never be the USP. Yes, we can use, and we're going to talk about that. We can use pricing in a different ways for our promotion, for our creating campaigns, and different ways of pricing, different pricing, but not using that as an USP and continuing doing that and promoting that in advertisements. That will be a disaster. The moment you will choose pricing as your USP and do in the paid campaigns, you are burning money in two ways. First, you're burning money in making the campaigns and running the campaign, losing the audience, and also losing the product value itself. Right. So, in short, if I can say that you can't, now this is just a jargon, but it's created by me. So, I love to say that anywhere I get a chance, sell aspirations, because in India, at least in India, not because in India, people aspire to look bigger. Even if they're spending 100 rupees, they want the best out of it, right? You can't be tagged that I'm spending money also and I'm using the cheap product also, or I'm buying the cheap product also. How many of you would want to do that? Rather, I'll buy a product with the same amount of money that will give me some gratification about myself, right? That was one of the reasons of Tata Nano disastrous failure, right? uh, yeah. Okay. So while we're going to talk about from here on further about the other topic, how many of you would like to do an activity quickly, a very interesting activity related to the topic, utilizing your whatsoever we have learned so far and also in this session? Can we do that? How many people we have here? What about others? It will be very interesting for sure, that I can guarantee. Okay, great. So let's practically utilize this in a way. What we have to do is uh, let me think over. Okay, so you have to define a buyer's persona, like let's suppose you have done a research and then you have to pitch it to a client, a buyer's persona, that ideal, what you have discussed, an ideal buyer's personality for a product which I'll give it to you. So you have to define the buyer's personality and a paid campaign strategy. Okay. Okay, all good. Only thing is, when you make a buyer personality, what happen is that you need, of course, everybody will be drinking water, and since it appears to be like that, anybody could be the ideal customer for that. But when you need to build a buyer personality, and then when you're thinking in line with, that's why I was writing notes when you were saying, when you have to decide based on the paid campaigns, you need to filter it down further, right? You can't sell it to everybody, even to everybody may be the market or the audience for you, right? So you start with age group, because I am eco-friendly water bottle. Now you have to define, when I'm selling eco-friendly water bottle, how I am selling it. So there are catch that I will be selling online, because I will be doing platform-based campaigns. If I said, now, can everybody will be the audience for that? No. Maybe people who are above the age of 45, 50, or our parents' age, not shopping online. They prefer going to the stores and they don't spend time on Facebook and Instagram and on Google, right? So that's not my audience, because see, one thing is the cause. which comes out from this bottle, because that's why you think that everybody could be the audience. But the other thing, that's why there was a trick, like kind of in this product itself, right? The other catch is that you are doing it for strategies for paid campaign, and then you're building the personality. So cause is one side, but you have to think from the perspective of defining and designing a campaign. If you see that what all we have discussed, that you build a buyer persona and later on, so that you can have the best optimum results. And here somewhere we wrote, we know our product and the market fit, how to position my brand, what is the USP, and more importantly, the right target audience and effective resource location. So we have to define then based on all of these. So what happened is, maybe if I would have done that, I would say my target audience would be age group between say 20 or 19 to 30, 35, all those college goers to the office goers, because that's the one who carry bottles day in and out and travel, because I'm selling bottle, not water. I'm selling eco-friendly water bottles. Water is the need for everybody. Maybe water bottle is not for everybody. That's one way. Then I'll be targeting a income group, let's say upper middle class, those who will be working for this, because I have to design the campaign based on this target audience and who will be able to buy that. Since it's eco-friendly water bottle, maybe there I'm using paraben free plastic or whatsoever, that comes later on. Because remember, the buyer personality and the competitive research also help me find out the product fit and the product development itself. So based on that, I would say that upper middle class, because since there's a price attached to the product, I'm selling it, I'm not doing any NGO work. Who will be This will be the target audience who will be having this kind of payment bracket or position or designation. Then comes the personality, which we talk about. So the personality comes from the social media platforms, those who somebody like the environmentally friendly, environment conscious, liking those kind of pages, are also a sub or duplicate audience could be those who are into health and fitness, and talk about those things, right? Third duplicate or third kind of audience would be those who are tech savvy, who want quality over cheap products and ready to pay the premium. That will come out from the interest point of view from those social media groups and also the Google analysis that we do. Then comes the pain points that come from the interest. Somebody share anything about the durability, the plastic use and the pollution it's causing. Even the plastic that they are using or the steel case using are not totally health free. They do not. They have some health causes to it. And then comes the point that at personal level they want to reduce their personal carbon footprints and all those things. And after that comes the buying behavior. And since we are selling online to somebody who shop from Amazon, Flipkart, or any other online platforms, those who have mentioned reviews, those who are buying eco-friendly products, and then comes that will define. So then I will able to say that, okay, my personality, my buyer's persona would be around say Monica and Jitendra, just naming it, Monica and Jitendra, who are between the age of say 17 to 35. They are living in metro cities or tier two cities, working this at this position at these roles. They are middle class or upper middle class individuals, high net worth individuals. They are ready to pay premium. Their social media analysis and the kind of industry they are into and the kind of industry we are into highlights that they could be a right fit. They shop online often, blah blah blah, this and that. And they also have shared their interest on social media platforms and on Google. They talk about sustainability. One of their posts I was talking about that they're liking pages in that category, and hence that's the ideal customer for us. That's how we build buyer's personality. And then the ad, yes, that you have created, that's fine with me. We understand how to build buyer's persona and why it's important. What are the things that we need to take care while building the buyer persona, and why it's very important for a brand, for any brand, be it established one or be it a new one in the market getting into it. And what are the things when it comes to building your buyer's persona, one should know about the audience beforehand. And also it's important to know your competition to build your buyer's persona as well. Many times you might not have the data, sometimes you have the data, but in both the case, either of the cases, excuse me, in both the cases, it's very important to know that how the industry plays a role, how your competition is playing the role in that. You have to know about your top players, who are the top players in the market, who are the mass players in the market, and how they are differentiating between, and what are the other players in between the mass player and the other players or the big player. And the moment you'll able to categorize that, you'll figure it out that everything about these players in the market in that category is different, from their campaign style to their headlines to their tone of the communication to the kind of budget they are allocating. Everything you'll find will have some kind of differentiation into that, because that helps, if I've written it earlier, that helps to figure it out for any brand or for any product, is to find their market fit. And that also is, since it's a secondary research, we could learn about it for our product also, doing a competition or the industry research, and we'll able to figure it out that whether in all these categories, where do we stand, where we can align our communication, our campaign, our money, and spend the budget accordingly, or we are not aligning in any one of these, and then we are creating something else altogether, and then accordingly the resources will be, because if you're not aligned with any of these and then you're totally starting a new category, then you have to spend more money in terms of paid campaign. You have to then go back to the boardroom, make few things well aligned before you start spending the money to promote the product, right? How it helps to create targeted campaigns, as I rightly said, as I said earlier as well. It also helps to product development, because based on the understanding, if you have not launched the product, you can still go back, make some changes. Many times what happens is the real idea is different, the real idea of the product is different, but to make it acceptable in the market, we tweak the idea, we tweak the product in a bit that it becomes more uh, better acceptable in the market, more what you call can have more shelf life, can have more reach, can have more potential to improve customers life, sort of things. Then we need to tweak, because you cannot go always with the raw idea or the raw product idea that you have in the mind, right? And then it also helps to effective resource allocation, knowing if we have 3 or 4 products, or knowing which product, which platform, which kind of budget will work where, how, to which audience, we'll be able to allocate our money, our resources, our labor accordingly, so that we will get maximum out of output of it. And if we are able to do all of this, it definitely gives a competitive edge up, compared to the competition to us, to make our positioning better. Once the positioning is better, everything else falls into place, because if you are able to position your brand or your product better in the market among the target audience, uh, wherever the target audience is, then all you need to do is to give that final push to convert and to make the sales happen. Also, it defines what kind of communication and what differentiation we can place in our ads. This I already explained also. So always emphasize, always utilize all of these things and try to cover it up with the unique selling proposition. What is the differentiator compared to all other industry players that is there in the market in your category? And then that's when you have all these things list by list available, from your basic indicators or the matrix, the matrix rather, to the consumer behavior, to the buyer's persona, to which platform, to how the competition is, to which player is doing what, which player is communicating what, which player is differentiating how, and what is my differentiation. When we have all these things, then is the right place when we can be able to pitch our product or create a good campaign, deciding upon how to do that, in what way we should do that, and whom we need to sell the product, right? And in doing so, we also understood that pricing can't be your USP. Pricing plays a very important role rather in the entire communication channel, in the entire setting up a campaign. Pricing plays a very important role to promote for promoting the product, for the campaign designing, for design for pushing the product to the market, whatever kind of marketing activity you do, but it can't be your USP. It can't be the differentiator. While at the periphery, it does plays a very important role. And that's why, if you remember the first course that we done about the digital marketing landscape, we learned about product, price, place, promotion, and price was the important factor of it. It's important factor along with the other piece, but it can't be the differentiator. Standing alone, it can't be the differentiator. And we have learned with few examples how and why it can't be the differentiator, right? After that, we've done some activity. We'll try, if at all it alive at all, whatever we have covered today, if it aligns with that, I'll think of some today as well and we'll do something. If not, we'll see how it goes. And that's all we have done. Okay. Since we know this is one of the important aspects of the entire marketing, uh, product, price, place, promotion. In that, price plays an important role, and we are also talking about pricing as a strategy in terms of paid campaign, right? What all type of pricing you guys are aware of? Are you is there anybody who's aware of pricing strategy, how the pricing has been decided, and everything else? See, there are multiple ways a brand can price itself, a product can price itself, and at times pricing become the strategy to market your product. And in most cases, pricing is the strategy to pricing is a strategy to make available in the product and make customer decide that what they want to go for and how they want to go for. But again, do not mix it. Do not say that just yesterday I said that pricing can't be the differentiator, and you can't say pricing can be the USP. I'm not saying pricing is the USP. I'm saying pricing will play a part in the strategy, or you can define pricing as a strategy to go in the market, and the users can decide the product according to the pricing at times, right? And that's what you learn, the different ways product and the brand price themselves and also market it. With example, we will try to understand that. So the first one is the very basic one. First, we know what is pricing is. So it's cost plus margin, whatever you add to your product. That's it is. I know this is not a finance class, so but just example, cost of your manufacturing, your service, your product, and any margin that you add is become your pricing. Your pricing to sell your at what price you will sell. That is the pricing, right? Now, the very first pricing is nothing but competitive pricing. Competitive pricing. This is nothing but very easy one to understand. You just do the market research. You know what is the average pricing of all the products in that category in the market, and then you don't want to go. You don't want to establish yourself as a cheap product, comparatively lesser known product or less product in the market. The mistake that Tata Nano has done, because Maruti Alto was already there and they were not selling at a at a low price. Now their aspiration was different, but since that made a tag of cheapest car, and that failed the entire product, right? So don't do that mistake. Competitive pricing means you do the dipsticks survey, you do the entire market research about the industry, about your competition. Guys, please let me know if I'm going a little fast or slow. I'll accordingly change myself if at all anyone feels that way. Right? You know that this is the pricing, whatever the pricing is, and where do you want to play in this category. You check the average pricing, and that's why you might have seen. And again, I keep on giving you this example of all these shows, right? Wherein Shark Tank or Dragon's Den and Elevator Pitch and whatnot, they keep on asking how pricey or how economical you are when it comes to your competition. Why in such a show also, for such all big businesses, they keep on asking this, because pricing does play a role, that how you want to first, how you are placed vis-a-vis with your competition. The second very aspect come out from the pricing is that how you want your brand to be perceived in the market. And that's why I said pricing plays a very important role when it comes to marketing your product, because that also defines that how you perceive your brand, and how you position your brand in the market or your product in the market, whether you consider yourself better than the others or you want to charge a premium, and you are then positioning itself as a premium product. Because once you position yourself as a premium product, and if it's become established, the chances are to then bring it down would be tough. A very good example, again, some of you have have already said that one of my favorite brands that I give example is of Apple. Now, Apple has positioned itself and priced itself at a very premium category, right? But it's not competitive pricing. They kept ahead of the competition, a little higher than the competition, and to a great extent, it worked for them. But also, nobody talk about that, or maybe nobody have noticed this. But if you just think and realize it, Apple also tries to then to some products bring down the prices, right? And they launch some of the mediocre products like SE or CE kind of iPhones, and all of these phones never get succeeded because once you place yourself there, even if you try to bring the price of the product, to do so what you have to do is you have to launch a mediocre product, because you can't now totally make the product price of that product half to what you have positioned yourself, right? And at times, to increase the volume, to have a larger penetration, like Samsung has it, and Samsung never positioned itself as a premium phone, or somebody which is a high category phone, even though they have it. But most of the time their advertisements is to all kind of phones, and when they promote their higher end phone, they promote the feature, not the price. And also they show it in a competition with the other premium brand, but how they are better. So that's how they position it, and that's where the Apple have a drawback when it comes to it comes for them to advertise themselves. So they can never be a mass brand in that sense to promote them. To become a mass brand, they have tried a few times to launch CESC, and I don't know, those are colorful toyish fonts, and they failed miserably. So that's what is the problem when you start to establish yourself. Not a problem, but if you treat yourself as a premium, you have to then be there. A very good example right now, which is with the premium pricing happening because of all these tariff wars between China and US, right? So all these brands they keep their product as a very premium price, and they can't lower it down because of all this tariff. Now all the Chinese manufacturers are showing that they are premium, but they are actually just manufactured like any other bags and getting manufactured in China itself. And since they are 100 times or 200 times more priced in the market than what they actually the value is, now they're the valuation, the price, the shares and everything is falling apart in line with the customers, right? So premium price good because you get maximum more margin and you get benefits out of it. But you have to keep in mind that once you charge premium, the chances to then become a mass brand and chances to then categorize yourself down when the times are bad for you will be very, very tough. Maybe you don't need to, and most brands who have established themselves as premium, they don't need to and they don't want to become a mass brand. But I'm just sharing it from an example point of view. Okay. So then that's why most of the time, most brands and the most products, whenever they launch into the category, they keep the most commonly used pricing strategies competitive pricing strategy. They just keep the price as standard with the industry, so that the competition can't play them around with the price that okay, they are expensive or they are cheap. Because if they ridicule them about the pricing, they are ridiculing themselves also. And these kind of pricing strategy is, first I'll write at par with the competition. Once again, guys. So this kind of pricing strategy is largely used in the low, at times, mostly in low ticket size of products. For example, you're launching a bathing soap, you're launching a shampoo, you are into a product category of ice creams, you are into uh, packaged food, right? And largely it's the most commonly used regular, the repeat is very fast, and the ticket size is less. That's where the mostly this kind of pricing strategy brand uses is, right? Value based pricing, most of you are aware of, most of you might see it. Why I'm giving these examples also, that which kind of product maybe tomorrow you are working for, and if you have to make a marketing strategy and pricing will play a role in that, then you should be aware that what kind of taglines in the campaign, keeping the pricing strategy in mind, you can design up to. These things may look unrelated, but when you cumulatively look and sit across, everything comes into one place, right? Value based pricing is mostly into the software kind of products, SaaS-based products, online courses, online softwares, many times the tools and the CRM platforms that you buy, or any other kind of digital platforms or digital application, digital use case, OTTs, right? All those SaaS-based, value-based, or a software-based kind of, mostly that's where, or subscription-based, right? That's where the value-based pricing come into a play, which means they are freemium-based model at times, or as the prices will be, the more the value will be. Like for example, for some of the tools, the free version, like you have tried a few versions, Uber Suggest and all those things in the past. In the free version, you have a limited access. If I'll get a license of $100, I'll have all these 10 things that I can get. If I'll get full subscription or 100% thing, I have to pay a bit extra, maybe $200, and everything I will get it. Same is with the OTT platforms, like, maybe if it's Amazon or Netflix, like how many screens or what kind of access you get. You can't get the premium. You can't get the premium launches on Amazon if you're only having the 100 rupees, 69 rupees subscription. If you're into more, you have to subscribe for that. Same is for with platforms like Salesforce or cloud platforms, wherein with basic plan you will get XYZ things. With basic plus few more money, that if you spend advance, like for example, if you go to like these ones, right? You all have seen these many a times. We land up on a platform like, for free trial you get this, for basic plan you have to pay this, for pro plan you have to pay this, for business plan you have to pay this. Remember this, everyone? These kind of plans on the, and you get these primarily on software based, SaaS based kind of platforms, like HubSpot. So basic, the free version is for $0, and then, oh, this is a 000, something like this, wherein basic plan with no amount, pro plan with $9.99 a month, and a business plan for $15 a month, wherein you get every access. Such, most, as I said, SaaS based platforms and all sort of things are usually using value based pricing, right? Wherein, right now, this is the only category. Value price based pricing is the only category where you will see most of the campaigns also can be designed around the pricing. Yes or no? Because it's there on their platform itself. It's there on the campaign itself also, that pay 199 for for business. Like you go to subscription for Netflix or Geo or Hotstar or Prime these days, pricing become a marketing, a promotional property. Yeah, this is kind of a pricing strategy for subscription, as I said, subscription based, or SaaS based platform, cloud based network, wherein you have to first, and the idea is, why value based pricing is largely in the online services or SaaS based platform, because the idea is there's nothing tangible over here, right? So, and subscription is nothing tangible. You just get to see something, and all sort of things. You're not getting anything tangible. So why the freemium pricing, they work, most of these are work on freemium pricing, is like free and then basic and then pro and then business and plan, all sorts of things, is because that you need to first make customers give a taste of that, make a hook off to the customer, that they should use it, right? That's why they give it for free initially. Like on YouTube also, there are people who, like Spotify, it works on a freemium model, right? You have a free version as well, and then you can also go for the subscription based premium model. Also on YouTube, like most of the content is for free, and then there are also paid version of the YouTube, and so on and so forth, right? Similarly, for all these tools like that we have done for the keyword research and sort of thing, so that customer can use it for free and get to know that what is the value in the free version itself. It's doing so much of good, what will be there, and then they become dependent on that and need more and more value out of it. Since they are now dependent on that and they need more value, they need more dependent, they need more content out of it, they go for the premium, go for the paid model. And also, it's try first, and then pay later kind of model, right? So that's why this is called priced based on customer perceived value. Once the customer perceive value from what they are using and they see the value in going for a paid version of it, they will go for it. This is the industry which utilizes mostly, which runs mostly on value based pricing. So if you are working for if you're working for any client which is into SaaS based, cloud based kind of a thing, you have to work on that, right? Then come the third pricing strategy, is very common one also, price skimming. What is price skimming strategy, or what is price skimming? Might have heard this term at some point in time somewhere in the corporate world or something, but any idea what is it? Now, price skimming, if I'll give you an example, it's mostly and highly used in categories of electronic goods which includes mobile phones, right? And that's, if I by now you can get to know what does price skimming strategy means. It means that whenever the product has its USP, or whenever the product has its newness, right, and it's the thing in the market or new thing in the market, they keep the price at the maximum, at a high level, at highest level. For example, any new AC or any new mobile phone, like iPhone 16 has been launched last year, or Samsung S24 has been last as the latest phone, or Galaxy, I don't know, Samsung, sorry, Android Pixel, as Google Pixel has been launched. Now there are the top end phone, and before there's nothing beyond that. There's nothing right now available better than that, right? So they keep the price at the topmost level and try to maximize the profit as much as they could, right? And in that case, it's also about showcasing yourself that we are leaders, or we are leading the category, and also we are best of the best in the category. It could happen in any category. For example, in any other electronic products, like for example 2025, a brand called, let's suppose, Daikin or Panasonic launched an air conditioner which has much better feature than any of the other ACs which are available in the market, and also saves a lot of electricity, or saves a lot of power consumption, that indirectly saves money, better cooling. Or a refrigerator by Whirlpool or LG or anybody which has some advanced technology that none of the refrigerator has it, and they have launched it for the summers of 2025. And now, and in the electronic goods, you know that as the product is launched, every other brand which is every other, it's a cluttered market, every other brand which is there in the market will come up with that. This, you can't secure a patent, because some tweaks here and there and everyone will have it, right? Like suppose the AC or the phone or whatever I've said, like Apple has a lot of patents, but the moment the Apple launch a phone, the very next week you will find all these Oppo, Vivo, and all of the phones have similar kind of features into their phone, right? Just a bit of tweak here and there, and they do that, right? So be it AC, air conditioners, or coolers, all mostly electronic goods. So some, let's suppose a shaving trimmer which has some unique feature, you just guide it and it does it, or you just sit and it does it on its own, it make a style on its own, right? And it's a unique feature, right? So when they launch it, they keep the pricing high, but they know that they can't keep the price as much as it is right now for a year. They have to slowly bring it down, because then the next version, or even the same version, the other version 0.20 of the same product will they need to launch to um remain considered in the market, right? So when the in 6 months down, they keep the price for 6 months, they skim as much milk as what they should, keeping it a very top level, and then they slowly reduce it down to penetrate the product to the other set of audience who are not able to afford it, to the audience who are ready to pay the premium, right? So they try to get maximum amount of money that they can reap the benefit out of a product, is called price skimming. Keeping the high for those who really want advanced and being want to be ahead of others. Then once that market is tapped and they know that everybody in that category have already bought the product and now there is no buyer, this will reduce the price so that the other layer of the buyers who could not afford it at that point in time can buy the product 6 months down the line or 1 year down the line. And that's what I believe in India you might have seen most consumers do that, right, with Apple phone. So they wait for the new phone to launch so that the previous one becomes cheaper, the price is reduced, and they buy. So when iPhone 16 was launched, it was not the iPhone 16 after the next month who was selling the most number of quantity. It was iPhone 15 which was sold the most. Do you guys know that? Yeah, that's called skimming pricing because there are a set of audience who always wait for the prices to drop and they know the prices will drop in this category, and that's the time I will buy that. In some cases, even users delay their buying, uh, uh, delay their purchase thing that okay, let the prices drop, right? Same is it be the case for the AC. Same could be the case of like air conditioners right now at the top most prices. If you go to a mall, you want to buy an air conditioners, easily you will spend for anything for a 1.5 ton or something. Easily you could spend 50,000, right? By the time 6 months down the line, when the India will hit into its winter season, the prices will drop. So at and then there are few people who will buy it for the next year, not maybe this year, right? That's called skimming pricing. Clear about skimming pricing? What does it mean? Prices high. Now you all know. Now get to know that what is skimming pricing. But what is the how to use that? Our job is not to know the pricing part. Our job is how to use that when it comes to marketing. Anyone? How you utilize that? Discounting, right? This is what they maximize the benefit of benefits of these products is when they launch they don't talk about the price. Where that's the point in time they talk about the features to justify the price, so the price remain a hidden constant and it's all about the features. And that point in time the advertisements that you will see even in online or anywhere is launching all new with these features: razor blade, titanium, platinum, thorium is being used in the body of for the body of the phone, the most durable material, this gorilla glass and whatnot, the fastest shape, bionic, this and that, everything that you will hear, but not the pricing, right? That is for the initial 6 months to 1 year. No price mentions, just the features. That could be phone, that could be AC, like HEPA HEPA filters and 8 level convertible modes. This swing, that swing, very low on power. This feature has been added. It also purifies the air on its own. It keeps your kids safe. No biohazardous chemicals, whatnot that you will hear about. Same is with the fridge or whatsoever. Like all the things that is there on the features, AI features and all sort of things that you will hear about that. 6 months down the line, feature will be there, but suddenly the ad is the most advanced phone or the most advanced AC or the Whirlpool is now at 9999 and the previous price will say in cut and for 9999 offer limited or something like that. So then in that case pricing becomes a role play a role to advertise and promote the product which is already been there in the market. It is now an old product for 6 months or 1 year old product. To sell that, pricing becomes a tool, right? Skimming pricing plays a role in the marketing strategy, that how to strategize and at what point in time you have to bring this pricing strategy to promote or advertise a particular product. Yeah, offers from banks and all those things these days are there. HDFC is very often providing all like uh immediate instant cash sort of thing these days. Now, penetration pricing is very easy when you have to enter a market and you are a well recognized brand already, but you are into a different category maybe, or you are deep pocket where you can play the pricing game. Now, remember, I said pricing can't be your USP, and this when I'm talking about you can play around the pricing doesn't mean that I'm using it as a USP. I'm using it only as an entry to a already a market where the entry is almost impossible or tough or already very cluttered. And to give me a breakthrough, I can play with the pricing to penetrate in the market. But I am not saying that I will be cheap. I will nowhere in the communication I will say that. I will make sure that people will get to know that this is just an introductory price, and that's where you hear that offer limited till, like, for to early adopters or for early movers or something like, you know uh, uh, new joining offer or something like that. It is just to enter the market or early buyers. That comes with a limited tag, that this marketing with the penetration pricing, where you are playing around the pricing to get into the market, is with a limited tag. Nowhere you will find a communication saying that we are cheaper than because the moment you say that we are cheaper than the other, which means it's a constant thing. When you say it's a limited time offer, which means it's just only for 15 days, 20 days, 1 month, and after that the pricing will be revised. So take the benefit till the offer is there. There are two different things. Clear to everyone? Just make it clear that I'm not talking about this as a strategy of for a long time. Make it add by with, and that's what called penetration pricing. A very good example, Sarthak already mentioned. I believe Sarthak mentioned it. Yeah, Geo, right? When Geo wanted to enter the market, they keep it for free or very low, almost negligible the pricing is. But today, if you see, they are equally expensive or at par with the competition, right? At times, they are the first one to increase the price, and then the others are following it to increase the price, right? So when you are in that kind of a category, for example, this is again depends. It can't be in a say, it's good in a real estate kind of a market where you do the launch offer and then you can do that. It's also good in a fast moving consumer durables at times. It's also good in uh, when you're entering into a different category, or maybe it's good when you are totally a new kind of a technical product where you want to enter and disrupt the market. These kind of industries, this works well, right? And that's called penetration pricing. So you know that which kind of a campaign and how to promote that your story, if you are into that category and if you're launching a product, how to do that, right? I will not expect Zepto, all these Zepto is doing it, Blinkit is doing it, because they have to enter a market of e-commerce and disrupt the e-commerce market to make it a quick commerce market. You'll see a lot of initially discounted. A very good example of this is also for penetration pricing is, not many people say that, but Uber and Ola is also very good example, right? If you remember, when this Uber and Ola came in Indian market, I know Uber has been there in the European market and in US for a long time. But when they entered the Indian market, the first ride was free, or 50% discount on your second ride, right? Because they were bringing the change in the behavior of the customers of our Indian customers. Now, I don't know how many of you are of that time, how many of you are totally new and started traveling out after Ola and Uber. But if you remember back in the days, for example, for me to give an example of a city in Mumbai, right? If you have to travel and you have to, there was nothing called pick up from a door like Uber, Ola, and Uber do that. So you have to go out, and if you are like living in whichever region of Mumbai you're living in, if whether their auto rickshaws are allowed or whether they are taxis, right? You have to ask at least 10 to 5 or at times even more auto rickshaws and taxis, that whether you will go to this destination or not. They were very rude at times. They say no, we will not. You have to spend a few time if it's hot in the afternoon, then you have to spend some time, then they keep on rejecting, and one fine taxi guy or the rickshaw guy will may have a mercy on you and accept that okay, he will go, and then you board the ride. Is if any one of you have experienced that. The same was the case in Bangalore, maybe the same is the case in Delhi, that you have to chase the autos and the taxis, right? And we were okay with that because that was the lifestyle that we used to live, and or otherwise you have to choose the public transport. Same is in Kolkata. But then Ola and Uber came in, and then they have to change the behavior how we see traveling within a city and how we have to use it. So they have give huge discounts and offers that first ride free, and the feature itself was very great that you have to book it from your home, sitting at home, just from an application. When the cab or the taxi is waiting at your doorstep, that's the time you have to go out, sit in an AC, because earlier there was not AC cab also, right? And they are giving an AC ride, convenient, safety, door to door pickup and drop, and all of that with an air conditioner, and at half the price or almost free compared to the a tough ride in a taxi or an auto rickshaw on those roads, right? So that was a game changer for them, and they have disrupted the market. First, they are giving a lot of facilities, door to door, AC, safety, with a very less price compared to what taxis and autos are charging, or almost at their price, but with more features to me, right? And that's the penetration pricing. Once they have penetrated, now you don't see that kind of discounts that, next ride will have 100 rupees discount or 120 rupees discount. It's expensive now. Traveling in cabs is expensive, but now they've made the change. Now they have made habit change. Now today, if you have to leave, let's say go 15-20 kilometers, and you are not a person who travel by the public transport, it's almost tough to think to go out without thinking of Ola and Uber, right? Like, you book your cab first, you book your taxi first, and then you step out. Yes or no? So that's about penetration pricing. And that's how, when you are in that kind of a market, or when you are helping that kind of a client, you can come up with a certain campaigns also on online and app based. I remember people remember only the holdings of Uber and Ola, but they have done a lot of app based promotional campaign, and that was all penetration pricing campaigns to enter the life of the customers and make this habitual change in their life. Yeah, they have not made people addicted to the comfort. Comfort is such that it's by nature it's addictive, and that's all the reason of success behind Ola or Uber or Zomato or Swiggy or Blanket or Instamart or Zepto. Comfort by itself is an addictive in nature. uh, Air tickets, very rightly said. See, as the moment I mentioned that you don't have a lot of loyalty needed. To be very honest, you are not loyal. I mean, a few might be, don't take me wrong in that case, but none of us are very loyal to Ola or Uber, right? At the end of the day, till the time the cab is good and I'm getting dropped from point one to point B, and if one is charging me, let's say, 500 rupees, and the other one is charging me 800 rupees, I will go with the one who is 500 rupees. In fact, I know so many people in like corporates and everywhere else, before they booking the cab, they check both the applications, and wherever they get for 50, 100 rupees cheaper, they book that cab. How many of you do that? Be honest to yourself. And there's no shame in that. I It's totally, I mean, you have to save your money. And if you're getting any services, the same services at a cheaper cost, why not? How many of you do that? Right? Always compare both the apps, Ola, Uber. On, if in some cities there are a few more apps. I believe in Bangalore there's one more app these days, like Go Ride or something. Yeah, Go Ride, or there's one app which when I was recently in Bangalore, I used it. Somebody have suggested me. Rapido also, yeah, Rapido. Rapido is in Bangalore also, if I'm not wrong, or some other app is Bangalore also. Geeta is always sorry. Ojas is always Uber. Okay, InDrive is also there, right? Right. Yeah, but how many of you? So since Ojas already said that they only use Uber, how many of you always compare? Always compare. Like, for example, when it comes to Ola or Uber, I am only Uber guy. I don't have even Ola app in my phone. I used to have, but it's been 2.5, 3, maybe more than 3 years. I don't use Ola. There are reasons to it. So I don't use Ola now. I only use Uber. And in a way, I have figured out that Ola any which way is gonna mostly either expensive or at par. So I don't now need to compare, and that's why I don't have Ola in my app, in my phone. I only use Uber, right? But there is no harm. Most people compare that. Also, the same is the case with, let's say, Zepto and Blinkit. How many of you compare for any commodity, or if you have a bulk of commodities, do you guys compare Zomato and Swiggy? Yes, no, or you are like brand loyals, right? Also, the case with whenever you book a flight ticket, how many if you compare from different platforms, Make My Trip, Go Ibibo, what you call Sky Scanner, and different platforms, or you're like, no, I have to book my ticket from Make My Trip, whether even if Make My Trip is charging me $1,000 extra. Do you guys compare, or you don't? You guys are brand loyal of Make My Trip or particular, right? Ojas is one brand man, but most of you all compare, right? I mean, for flying ticket, even I compare. I always compare with Make My. I open at one go all the three, two or three. If I am booking, if any of those who are inviting me or any of business trips I do, I don't care. But when I am booking, I do compare all two, three platforms at least, because what happens is in most of the times, some platforms give me a discount worth of 100, 100, 1,000, 1,500 rupees, which is a good amount. Like 1,500 rupees would be a good amount for me to enjoy a meal at the airport, right? Why not? So I do compare that. It's very interesting. It's very good thing, and that's where the dynamic pricing come into a play. Dynamic pricing, because the brand also knows that most of the users are not brand conscious in this category, because they do not have anything tangible to offer, and they know that it's a price sensitive industry. People will compare to us, so whenever they get the chance to get the benefit, the maximum benefit, they will increase the price. Whenever they see there is nothing, they will keep the price moderate, and the pricing, there's nothing called fixed over there. Yeah, that's their Ojas. If you search many a times, the algorithm do notice it, and change the prices accordingly. That's why when I book a flight ticket, I mean, I with Uber it happens. With Uber, in fact, it happens. Uber and Ola, it also happens. If your battery is low, if your phone battery is less, you will get more price. How many of you guys are aware of that fact? That if your battery is, let's say, 10% or 9%, all of a sudden your prices will be very high, because they know that you are in an emergency situation. It happens, Jitendra. When if your phone battery is very less, and you are at a situation, we are a location where you're booking a you're not at your home, or you're not at a location where you can charge the phone, and you are booking a cab, your prices will be higher. Let's suppose if the normal ride will be costing 500, you will have to pay around 700, 800 rupees. Yeah, that's called dark billing, or dark secret of online apps. Something like, some term is there, right? So that's the now established phenomena, that prices are always higher on iOS devices than an Android device. But this battery less, if your battery is less 10% or something, and then if you're booking tickets, you will end up paying more, because they know you are in a situation wherein, if in few minutes you'll not be able to book, or you'll not, your phone will be dying, and then what will happen? So they increase the price, and that's why it's called dynamic pricing. Depending on the situation, condition, and need of a customer, the prices fluctuates, and there is no loyalty, because you are also not loyal to them. To be very honest, you will also look for the lower price, and they will also try to get the benefit. Whenever the situation arises, they will try to get the maximum from your pocket out, right? Airline is a very good example. Ola, Uber is also a very good example of that. All these quick commerce platform are a very good example of that, and you are all agreed that you all do the comparisons. So we clear about that? Then the last one, which is a very easy one, called geo pricing. Now this is two ways we can define that. Two ways we can define that is, one is, a few of the products where the manufacturing itself is happening, they keep the cost low, while when they send it to the other within the same country, you will find different products. a different price of the same product because the logistic cost come into a play. For example, if you buy how many, I don't know how many of you have practiced that, but if you buy all of you are aware of Amul milk packets, the packet milk of Amul. Every day morning you can get it, right? So if you try sometimes, if you just buy that or some of the bread that you buy, you will find that there are two prices mentioned on that at times, that let's say rupees 30 in Gujarat and rupees 32 in rest of India. Have you ever read that kind of line in any of the products, in some of the products? Yeah, Jitendra sir, yes, right? So that's called geo pricing, because geographically they keep the same commodity, but the pricing is low. That's called domestic pricing, different. And then there are some international products also. First, we understand this. So Amul, there are few like Vips bread. Vips bread is from, I believe, is from Mumbai. So they keep the pricing in Mumbai different, and then the pricing for other India is different. So newspapers also do that, yes. Whenever, if any one of you are having this, what you call prepaid SIM cards, right? The pricing for Mumbai and Goa circle and rest of Maharashtra circle is different. How many have noticed that? If any one of you are from Mumbai or Goa, right, you will notice that while the other, like the metros are not part of the state. So if you are recharging your phone for Mumbai, ideally it should be Maharashtra circuit, but the rest of Maharashtra is different and Mumbai pricing is different because Mumbai is something like that. Let's avoid those petrol and all just because that's government control. There are government charges into that. Let's talk about the brands itself. Like petrol pricing, we can't say much about that, right? So that's kind of geo pricing domestically. So this plays at two levels. One is domestic and then international. International, I don't give much examples on that, but a very good example of that is Netflix, wherein a Netflix for a common basic plan of Netflix in US will be costing around $12. If we convert with the rate today, so say on an average, let's say 88 rupees of $1. So that would be roughly around 1,000 rupees of Netflix subscription, right? While the same Netflix with almost same kind of content and everything else, you can buy in India for about 200 rupees. I don't know. Right now it's 200 rupees or something, right? Yeah. So the huge difference they because of the kind of audience, maturity of the audience, and also the purchase parity of the audience, the prices differs. Now, Netflix have to do the server, this and that service, everything there in India as well for them, but they keep it cheap. Also, the volume game is there. We can say that, but from 1,000 to 200, there's a huge difference, right? So that's called geo pricing. I will just mention about example bread and milk, and then also subscription based services like Netflix. And last but not the least is called bundle pricing, and this is what the most one of the most used pricing strategy by the marketers like us. We use it so often. What is bundled pricing? And this is where you can trap the customer. Not, I would not say the trap the customer, but how well the pricing strategy has been used by the brands to keep or hook the customers. Do not let them go, and also make them spend more than what they have came for. And you all are part of it. Being a marketer, you all do that, I can say that. How have you all experienced that? You go to a portal, let's say Flipkart, Amazon, or no, not bundling with established product. I'll tell you, Flipkart, Amazon or Blinkit or any of the other Zepto you go to, and let's say you went there to buy a dozen of egg or something. Let's say not the Flipkart, Amazon, just Zepto and Instamart, right? You went, or Blinkit, three platforms. You went over there to buy a dozen of eggs. And then you get a message that if you add 100 rupees worth more of product, your delivery will be free. Yes. The moment you add 100 more, if you add 20 rupees more, you will get this product item worth 50 rupees only at 20 rupees. So you will add then again 100, 40 rupees more, right? You add that, then in at the checkout cart, you are very close to get a gold membership for next 30 days. If you purchase for rupees 500, you will get a gold membership for next 30 days. So you add 100 rupees more. Happens with you? Yeah. And it all started with only to save that 50 rupees of delivery charges. To save that 50 rupees of delivery charges, you now, and you only wanted to buy a product worth rupees 70. To save that 50 rupees delivery charges, you end up spending 600 rupees. And that's the power of bundle pricing. And that's how the marketeer do that. That's how we people design the pricing, and that's how we design the campaign and the messaging on these apps. You all will do that the moment you will work for any brand or any of the sales promotion campaign. Yeah. So remember that. And that's why I said that this is one of the most common pricing, being a pricing part, mostly used by the marketeers and the advertisers like you, me, and everybody to design it in a way to get more and more customers and increase the ticket size, the order value. Heard of this term, the order value? What is the order value? This kind of pricing helps a lot in increasing the per order value per customer. And that's the job of nobody else but the marketeers, of we marketeers, so to ensure that the average price, average ticket size, or the average order value should keep on increasing. Yes. This is the online case. Offline, you might have seen this, that if you go to McDonald's or Burger King or any or KFC, there's always a meal pricing, that if you just want to buy a burger, let's say of 100 rupees, 100 rupees, you will and you went with that intention of buying a burger itself, but you will go over there and the guy over there will also say, sir, if you go for the meal pack, you will get along with the burger, you will get a fries and a coke or something at rupees 180. If you buy it all three differently, you will have to pay 250 rupees. Now you are getting it for a product, all the products worth of 250 in 180 rupees. But was it the need for you? No. You went there only to buy the burger. But now the psychology and the power of marketing, how it plays is that you start to calculate that from 250 and I'm getting it for 180, I'm saving 70 rupees. But you're paying 80 rupees extra for which you never intended to, but you end up doing it. That's the power of bundle pricing. And then the average value also increased. You are only saving if you had the intention to buy all these three products differently, then makes sense. But you're not intended to. You only went to buy a burger, but when you went there, you saw the pricing, and this pricing strategy has been pushed to you or showed to you as in the form of marketing, that you are saving 70 rupees on the other way around, and you spend 80 rupees extra. Is what the power of bundle pricing. Make sense to everyone? And I tried with all the pricing strategy to give an example that how we all are some or the other way part of it. Being a marketeer, we all do that. I'll write the full form. Yeah, so these are the important aspects of bundle pricing. This helps to also increase the repeat order or the repeat purchase from the customers. And as a marketer, we use it a lot, many times, lot, many ways. Yeah, this is not only limited to, you can use it in multiple ways. All these pricing strategy, I'm just saying that what is the use case. You can use it strategically to any kind of product. For example, if I talk about bundle pricing, I have given example of Zepto and Instamart, and with small ticket size. I also given an example of Burger King and McDonald's. But if I think, uh, like, if you go to buy even for the what do you call, the expensive products, goods with high ticket size products, like let's suppose again a refrigerator, or which comes expensive, or an air conditioner, or a washing machine, or a mobile phone, for example, worth 1 lakh or so. If you buy that, there also bundle pricing works. Yeah, and I believe when I'll tell you all be able to realize that most of the time when you buy this product, the salesmen tell you that with this purchase, if you buy a extended warranty worth for 5 years, usually the warranty comes for 15,000. But if you buy right now, you'll have to pay only 8,000 rupees. Experience that, right? And then everything of your will be saved. Later on, if you buy the same extended warranty, you'll have to pay for 15,000. Right now, you're saving 7,000 rupees. That's also a good example of bundle pricing, because AMC, which is called annual maintenance charges, are the real money from where the brand makes money, because it's for 5 years and you're paying in one go, right? And they bundle it in a way because later on, most likely people don't buy the extended warranty for 4 to 5 years. If in that heat of the moment, in that moment, if you buy it, you're buying, you are spending 7 to 8,000 rupees extra. I'm not saying it's bad to buy in or it's good, but I'm saying that's how they bundle it with, to push it to the customers. So far, so good, everyone. Okay. Now, as we talk about a lot of making campaigns, maybe a bit of strategies, what to do, pricing strategies. But at the end of the day, when you make a campaign, right? All thing is done when you make a campaign. You design best tagline, you design the best pricing strategy. You have done a lot many things, uh, how and what to do, everything else. But at the end of the day, all matters is that when the customer lands, and where do the customer land? What is the story there? Where do the customer, or this is what matters the most. This is what makes the difference. This is what, at the end of the day, you did a beautiful campaign, you design a beautiful campaign, right? All the offers, everything in the campaign promotion. And once the audience will click on that, and once land on the landing page, right? That's where the game changes. If everything is good, but if a landing page is not worth it, if it's not good, right? Or if it's giving false, uh, in the advertisement, you have said something, you have just made promised the moon to the customer, and if it's not there on your landing page, right, you are not only losing the customer, you are burning the money. But remember, because remember, this is not a organically driven audience. For to bring this audience, to bring this customer onto your portal, you're spending a good amount of money in terms of campaign, designing the advertisements, and then running it on maybe social media platform or Google platform, spending for each click that is coming to your website. And if there is a mismatch between what is being promised on your all these advertisements, pricing and sort of thing, and it's not there on the landing page, or the landing page is not, or the landing page is not very great, or the landing page is not having a great UI in terms of experience or interface, the audience will move back, and all the money, energy, time, resources that you have spent to bring that one customer on your website, you will lose all of that along with the customer itself for a long down time. So ensure your website slash landing page, and we'll try to understand some examples from good brands that how the landing page should be. the landing page is full of make sure your UI is relevant, right? And on the landing page, this is like no brainer, but I'm just telling you because I don't want any one of you to do this mistake, even if it's so silly to sound. Make sure that on the landing page, even if it's a standalone landing page or your website landing page or a campaign landing page, wherever you are, ensure even if there's nothing, but if you are bringing customers to make the sales, make sure all the policies are well defined on your website. I request you all, please do that, even if you're doing for yourself, for your customers, for your brand, uh, for your family. Please make sure that policies should be well defined, because laws are very much favoring customers, and it has to be, it should be, right? So when I'm talking about policies, if you are a e-commerce kind of a platform or any kind of a platform, policies related to the warranty, guarantee, return, refund, referrals, exchange, all those policies must be clear. And that's why you see these days now, any of the platform you go to, you will get these policies well established there at the end of the product, that whether the exchange will be there or not, whether there will be return or not, where there will be return of money will happen or not, where how many days of exchange is possible, not possible. All those policies are well, very clearly defined. Yes or no? Yeah, because if any of these you will by chance fail to mention that, by default the benefit of doubt will go to the customers, and there are some nasty customers who will use it as against you, and there have been incidents where the brand have to bleed and pay for these goof ups, right? Even for example, earlier the brands like Flipkart also doesn't have not have so many times have failed to mention these things clearly, and these loopholes have made huge losses. Very rightly said, Sumit. I just used that line. These loopholes have made huge losses to the brands. So and we'll take an example, right? We'll take an example. So first, let me write it down. That UI, this is very important. Your UI should be very, very friendly, because you are, remember, as I said, you are bringing your hard and you are doing, spending your hard earned money. This is paid strategy campaign. You are spending your hard earned money to bring that one single customer to a traffic, and because of UI, if the customer is moving back, you are not only losing the customer, you're losing a lot of money as well, right? So make sure your website is full-fledged. Yeah, UI is clear, clean, well optimized before you go for a paid campaign. If you are not ready with this, don't do a paid campaign. Wait another one more month, but go only after that. Policies should be well defined on your website, which is warranty, warranty, return, refund, and I'm just writing everything. Exchange to avoid legal patterns. Right? Because if not, the customer will benefit out of it. Now, how to design the, if you are an e-commerce platform, or if you have a product driven website, how the website should be, always remember it should have a detailed description. If you have any kind of sales running ads, limited time offer, 1 month limited time offer, all those things, and in the description of the product itself, whenever you do a campaign, once they land, the description of the product itself, the most, it has to be either of the three things, right? When you write a description of the product on the on your website, and if you're selling a goods on your website, it has to be three things. Either it should have its USP mentioned, or its best selling feature, whatever it is. And if not, there has to be a story. You tell your story about the product. For example, let's take an example over here. Let's go to this site called Chroma. Now, Chroma, I hope everyone is aware of, is a multi-electronic platform, right? And let's say I look for air conditioner, right? Yeah. And now this is what I'm talking about. So you see, this is how you need to write the description, because this is not only for a good strategy or a good practice for paid campaigns to bring the audience right over there, and at the first look they should know there's a match between the ad and then on the product and what they have came for. But it also a good practice to enhance your SEO. So via SEM, via paid campaign, you can also boosting your SEO because your description is well written for the product. So if let's suppose I click on this, or let's say I click on this, right? Everything you will find. So you see, premium series 1.5 ton 5-star inverter split AC copper condenser in bracket, right? Now this is could be a feature, could be a good feature, or good to have feature PM 2.5 filter. But that's how you're supposed to write the description of a product whenever. And why I'm saying that, because in some most of the batches, there are few people who are doing their own e-commerce website, and they are taking the sessions or the consulting, and they just write leather bag, or brown color bag. That's how you're not supposed to write the description. You're supposed to write the description with its three things: either the story, if there's a story about your brand, or the feature that makes it different, or something, some USP or whatsoever. But write the description that way. That's make a difference between a good e-commerce platform and just an average e-commerce platform. So you see over there, right? And if you are a multi-brand platform, always remember your brand can only benefit from the brand value of the other brands that you are selling on your platform. For example, in this case, right? It's a Chroma, but Daikin is a very big brand of ACs, so they use the brand name in the description. Now you say that this is a very small thing, but in SEO or in SEM or in paid campaigns, these small things make the big differences compared to the competition. So that's how you're supposed to write the description in detail, right? And that's what I'm talking about. So all those things with exchange, brand color, all those things, features, everything you need to mention, your key features, all sort of things that you can see over here. But if you go down, these are the reviews. See, they are very all the specification mentions, and this is what they will ensure to the users. Essential combos. You see the combos over here. All those things mentioned well in detail. And yeah, the key features available over here: super savings, the pricing part, and the description over here, right? Another website, if I'll go, this is about the specified product features. A very good website when it comes to product itself and how to write the descriptions is if you go to this website called Nike. Let's say go for men, all shoes. And why I'm giving you this example, I want to show you that even if a brand like Nike, of course, it takes some money, but how detail oriented they are. And for this, I'm not taking an example of Apple, by the way, right? You see the kind of, this is Nike, and they could have just put one photo of their shoes, some details, and they could have done. But they know the power of customers and what kind of, and that's the reason this is an aspirational brand, because they understand the nerves of the customer, and that's how the description and the landing page should be, right? So you go over here, you can see the kind of product detailing in terms of photo itself. This is like from all angles and this and that they have done. But apart from that, if you just go over here, you see this is the kind of story that they bring. So maximum cushioning in the Vimero provides a comfortable ride for everyday runs. They could just write best Nike shoes for running, right? And still they will be able to sell it. But this kind of description they are providing, being a Nike as a brand, is for a reason, because the description for a product makes all the difference when it comes to online platform, right? And then this is what I'm talking about. All the policies must be very clear in these kind of products. All delivery and returns, how this was made, and see, this is the storytelling I'm talking about. So this is the description, and there is a storytelling about the product over here, right? Right. Now, there's a very good brand, and I'll make you. That's also sells. Not that it doesn't sell, but I want to show you the difference between the how, for me, a great website and an average website looks like. Is this clear to everyone? Does it? Uh, do you all able to understand what I'm trying to explain? Tomorrow, if you have to make your own website, how detail oriented you should be before you go for the. This is all before you do the paid campaigns. All there, everyone. Right now, there's a brand again. I will open called Sketchers. I'm not saying Sketches is a bad brand or a good brand. It's they also sell a good numbers. I wanted to show a difference between a great website and or maybe an average website, and you only decide which one you feel is much more detail oriented and better. If you have a choice and the money and everything else, which one you go for? Just by the way of presentation of it, right? So over here again, I go and let's suppose I buy for lifestyle. Sorry, lifestyle. And you see, I'll go for the red one. You see, and this is kind of everything is there, details, the kind of images from all angles. You just have a look of this. And then I go over here, I go for men, I go for running shoes. I let's say click on this one, and that's their page. Right. Now, I want to ask, if you are, let's say, forget about this logos over here. With all due respect, with all the brands, and they are both selling good numbers, right? With Let's forget about this logo and let's forget about this logo over here. They're just two shoes brand. Which landing page, if you're just randomly landing to it, right, without seeing the logo, which landing page would you think you will be able to engage more? You will be spending more time, and you end up buying the product. Will it be this or will it be this? You guys let me know, right? You see the storytelling of their landing page. You see how detail oriented. Forget about all these dynamics over here, but just this front. Once you land, let's suppose I saw the ad and I land to this page, only this part of the page, and I see all these things and I read all these things, and then I land to this page and I see this. See, go run ride 11. Look at their description, right? Nike Air Max DND, and a lot about the product. right? They also have mentioned it, but it's there at the bottom, right? So the detailing, go into the detailing, look at the images also. That says 3 shoes are all one leg shoe, one from the top, one from the like the horizontal view of it, vertical view of it, and the bottom view. Look at here, the different angles in pairs into different sides. This right, and this is not only for one shoe of Nike. This is with all the shoes that you click. This is the kind of detailing they have put into. So if I'll go for women's shoes, Jordan, yeah, and I click on this, you see the detailing of it. Even in pair, how it will look from different angles, right? And over here, women running shoes. See, that's what I have in terms of visual point of view. Also, this is the visual presentation of theirs. This is the product detailing about Nike, and this is the product detailing about Skechers. Now, cost wise, I believe okay, there's a bit of difference. There might be some shoes with the same prices, but if I would have to choose, if I don't know the logos and if I just randomly seeing the ad come to it, the idea is to explain that if you are not a brand also, and if somebody is just clicking your ad, after that, what happens is in your control, because after that, the ad job is to bring the customer, but to convert that customer to do the sales is in your control, and that control you give to the landing page. And that's why your landing page should be very comprehensive. It should be well detailed, not cluttered, but it should have all the features, the brand name, the presentation should be great on that, right? And all the policies, everything should be mentioned. And more importantly, if you are running any kind of, let's suppose, offers, limited offers, sales, season sales, all those things, please do mention that 1 month, because all these things help to make customer spend some more time. The more the time a customer spend on your website, the higher the chances are that if not buying now, the customer will return, and more likely the customer will buy at that point in time only. And that's why if you see most of these new websites or the quick commerce, try everything possible that the customer should not leave their website as early as, and they keep on trying to. Why does the brands do that? Keep the customers engaged to trigger the sense of urgency, to trigger the sense of FOMO, and so on and so forth, right? So the landing page plays an important, very important role when it comes to making your website. And in that, there's a tool. If at all you're running a campaign and you want to drive traffic and you want to capture the leads, there's a tool through which using which you can create amazing landing pages. We'll not be telling just making the landing page right now. But what I want you to do is that I'll tell you the tool right now. And then when you come, let's say, you can practice till next week and utilize this tool. Just plug and play. It's work on the freemium version. Plug and play and see that how good you are, or you can create the landing page. That this is one of the best platform that I'm aware of. It's called unbounce.com. If anyone has already worked on it, please let me know. Yeah, so this is unbounced. Uh, products, landing pages, you see, and that's what they are best at. You can don't buy for start building for free. You can do that, and that's how you can create the landing page. Smart creative landing pages, just drag and drop or choose what you want to do, and you can create landing pages of great usage for your campaigns, for your product, right? I we are not We'll not be using it, we'll not be making it right now because it's very creative and subjective element. You all just try later on after the course in the next 1 week whenever you get a chance. You see, over 15,000 brands really use Unbounce to boost leads and sales while saving their time and money. The brand generate more leads with Unbounce, and that's how the landing pages you can create. You see, there are different samples over here, and so on and so forth. You can get to check a few aspects on the landing page that we should ensure apart from the policies and some of the important warranties or returns guarantees policies. That is a must, because as I said, it may otherwise take you to the legal troubles. uh, and apart from that, we need to ensure these kind of offers are there, because this works as a hook. If at all you are running any sort of things, we have to do that. Why we have to do that? Because of course it keeps the customer engaged, and it triggers the sense of urgency and triggers the sense of FOMO, so that the customer end up finding it that if not now or not maybe never, and kind of that's when the sales happens. But it should not be just for the hook purpose. It should be reality. Whatever you have to offer, it should be there in the reality along with the terms and conditions and everything else in detail. We have seen some of the landing pages how it needed to be done, right? And that's what makes all the difference between a boring landing page and a good landing page. Then we talk about, then we did a case study, I believe, on this, and that's all it is. Right, so far, if you guys have, and it's a very very quick reminder of whatever you have discussed in the last 2 or 3 sessions, if I'm not wrong. And now, yeah, whatever you have, if you guys have anything in mind, please let me know. Please ask, and feel free. If you guys have anything in your mind, any questions, thoughts, suggestions, whatsoever you have in mind, so that we can address that in the beginning, and then we continue the session, and then later on also whatever we'll do today, we'll cover it up as well. So very small aspect I need to talk over here. We started about the macro aspects, that we need to know the target audience and all those things, and build the buyer's persona and sort of all the details that we talk about. Once there are two things, remember, right? One is a pre-campaign and a pre-campaign readiness and pre-campaign strategy, and the other one is the post-campaign strategy, right? And then in between, there is something called micro matrix that you need to keep on checking. I know you all are aware of this, but as in being on this side of the table as a tutor, I need to speak about that. So I'm doing that. Yeah, micrometrics are nothing but it gives you a great idea in terms of what is happening after the paid promotion is being done, what is happening on the landing page, and how the audience is responding to it, right? A very great way of that to understand after the campaign also, that which section audience are spending a lot of time, which section they are not spending the time, which section maybe the pilferage is happening, which page section tab the audience are going, and then after that they are just moving out. These analysis and this understanding is very important. May look very small, but very very important. For example, the micrometrics like add to cart, right? Or taking or clicking on the subscription button, or how many of them created an account, or checkout procedure, right? Now, many a times what happen, and it does happen to us as well, that at times we go to the site after seeing an advertisements, we add it to the cart, but we don't check out, right? Or we just don't just keep it in the cart. All of us do that, right? Yes, no? Many times what happen is we add it to the cart, but seeing the delivery charges and there's no promo code or something, we just don't buy it, right? So these analysis will help you understand that whether to what section or what particular action has been a bottleneck or stopping the customer for not doing the final goal, or not going for the to buy the product, right? Doing that is very important, because we have to analyze that whether that delivery charge that we are putting in is more of a cost, or bringing that customer to that portal to add to the cart and do the selling is more of a cost. And then we can also evaluate, right? The biggest importance of this kind of metric analysis is apart from what I said, is something else. Any idea what is that? Finding out issue, it won't be an issue. This is from the client point of view, from the customer point of view. It's a very great way to do a lot of one of the biggest part of the marketing, to analyzing these things. And you all are part of that. You all are getting accustomed by, or you're all getting such kind of you all are targeted basis on this by many brands, products, online shopping portals. And why these metrics are important, Sumit? Why analyzing these metrics and having the idea of these metrics after the paid campaign has been done is important? What it helps into when it comes to marketing? Very rightly said, Monica. It helps in terms of remarketing, and that's a very important aspect of overall marketing when it comes to digital marketing or online marketing. Why? Because the entire genesis, the entire success of online marketing or digital marketing is that it gives you leverage to know your audience, and it gives you leverage to, by knowing the data points, you can cut down your cost, improve the ROI or ROAS of your, or returns on your advertisements, whatever you're paying for. And instead of targeting the same audience, that's what happened with the other mode of marketing in the platforms. Digital marketing takes an edge, right? So knowing this many a times must have happened with you all. You can then have a different line of communication, or a different line of audience. I'm sorry, different line of audience, different line of communication, advertisement with your audience, to convert that a very important lead into a genuine customer, or into a customer, right? Many a times it might have happened, or just let me know if you guys have went through this, that you have added a product into a cart, and then maybe a day later or sometime, you uh, yeah, you might get messages like, hey, this product has been lying in your cart for quite some time. You have not taken an action, or something like that. Have you all, I mean, I don't remember the exact message, but something like that. How many of you have received that? All of us, right? That is called the micrometric analysis. That how many of the customer have added to the cart, how many person have checked out, how many persons have not checked out, sort of things. Sometimes happens that you provided all the details, like while buying a product, you provided all the details, and you also paid, press the button for make the payment, but you don't make the payment. Something comes to your mind that maybe price is not right or something or whatsoever, and you don't buy it. A day later or few hours later, you get a message, hooray, a special message for you. You can save 60% on your next shop if you do it right away. The limited offer for 1 hour or something like that, or some messages like that, just to trigger that emotion, so that you can go back to the platform value which you are already paying for. You can go ahead and then now pay and buy that using that code. Yes. Sometimes you buy a product, and you end up checkouting, you end up paying and checkout, and then you get a WhatsApp message or your mail that, thanks for being our customer, and thanks for your very first purchase with us. For the next purchase, you can get flat 100 rupees discount, right? Now this is where digital marketing plays a role, because you can't give a flat 100% discount to everybody. If you run a TV program, or if you run a TV ad, you have to show it like 100% discount for everybody. Now that is for anybody and everybody. The customization possibility over here is that the person who have come to the website and not didn't do anything, I can have then from which route the audience have come and it didn't do that. I can have a list of those audiences. I can have a list of those audience who were already about to pay but didn't pay it. Can have a list of those audience who have added my product into the cart but didn't buy it. And then now in my next series of campaign or the communication with them, I can release multiple communications as per the segment of the audience, right? Because later on you in some of the sessions you learn about a few theories wherein how to convert a customer. Customer goes through a multiple stages of creating an awareness to being satisfied. And now if a customer is already being aware or showed interest, how they showed interest, they have added your product in the cart, they have added their product, they were about to pay the price for the product, which means they were interested, but something else have happened and that's why they didn't buy it. Now, if I do a awareness-based campaign for them on Meta or Facebook, it's a waste of ad because the customer was already clicked on that ad and came to my platform and were about on the verge of buying it, right? Wherein I should spend that awareness campaign to that customer who have not seen, aware, or no idea about my product or the brand, right? So it saves a lot of cost. Now, retargeting campaign will save me a lot of money because I already have a ready audience. If you guys remember, while doing a setup campaign on Meta, there was something called pre-audience or already have an audience kind of a section. Remember that when it asks for if you already have an audience, right? What is that audience? That audience is this, which you gather the data, analyzing the micrometrics that you have on your website or your platform or your application or whatsoever, right? And that's why when you're running a campaign, a deep understanding and analysis of all these matrix is very important because that opens the door for the another very important section called remarketing. Remarketing is a great way to not only convert the potential customer into a genuine customer or a real customer, but to push your product and also reduce your marketing cost, marketing efforts, and give or rather allocate your resources in a more strategic and better way so that you can have a vast and wide reach instead of doing the duplication of advertisements and just reaching to the duplicate audience again and again and again. Make sense to everyone? Now, how would we do that? How do we do that? Let's suppose we are running an ad on Google or through Meta. How can we track this data that from which ad or which ad has performed and everything else, how it's performing, how it's been doing, and all those things? Anyone, any idea? We'll come to that. But before that, I just want to give you a small idea about that if you run a campaign, let's suppose for all these, let's suppose you're doing a keyword targeting campaign, right? There are different strategies, not strategies, different ways that you should know that whether how your ads are performing, how it is not, what all has been done to your ad or not. That we need to know that how it's whether the ad has been triggered or not. So that's called post-launch campaign. As I was talking about pre-launch, we have done all these things, buyers persona. We should know the demographics. Now we are talking about post-launch strategy. Now post-launch optimization, the important thing is keyword target for that. So let me do it over here. So first thing first, when if you're let's suppose we are doing a keyword targeting campaign, there's a term called SQR analysis. Anyone, any clue what is that? I hope I'm making sense to everyone. If there is any doubt or if there is any confusion, even if my voice, my pitch, speed, whatever bothers, let me know then and there. Search query result analysis, which is nothing but after the campaign has been released. Let's suppose you did a Google campaign and right, once the campaign is live, you do the SQR analysis. This is nothing but to check whether my brand or my ad has been triggered or not. What happens is when you run a campaign on Google, right? It may happen that your ad may not immediately get triggered. Triggered means that now Google has, once you do the bidding and everything has been done, now your ad started to reflect on the particular keyword that you bid for. That's called SQR analysis, search query result analysis. So for that, all you need to do is that you need to check at what point in time it may happen. It may take few hours or maybe a day or two to trigger your ad, because the ad will go to the Google analyze the ad, whether everything is fine. If there is any everything is legal, if there is any defamatory language or something bad or not, and if the creative is good, is if the ad has been made as per the guidelines, if everything is proper, then all the checks happens, and then ad is get published from the Google ad, and there, even if it's been published, it's not necessarily that it get triggered. Maybe the users are not right now looking for that keyword, or at maybe at what time, sort of things. So you need to check that at what point the ad got triggered. Triggered means nothing, that now your ad has been accepted by Google and will be ready to be shown as and when people will be bidding for that, or people will be looking for that kind of query. In that, what you have to do is, let's suppose you have bid for 4 to 5 or 6 keywords. You have to check which of the keyword is giving you a better result, rank 1, 2, 3, or 4, whatever. Which of the keywords, for that you have to keep looking. It's kind of a manual process, so you have to keep searching, maybe to different type is, tell yourself, tell your friends, or something like that. And this is like a way everyone does that to know. So 4 or 5 keywords, which of the keyword has been triggered, which has not been triggered yet, and on which of the keyword you are getting a better result. When I'm saying better result, like continuously you get first 2 spots or third spots or howsoever, at what frequency your ad is getting repeated. If you are not putting up, if you not put a frequency cap or something like that, that's called SQR analysis. That to be done from your side, because that is a confirmation that now your brand will be now. See, this is we need to address a few things, right? As the campaign start, the first thing, like for first 1 or 2 days, what we have to do is we have to do SQR analysis, that my ad has been triggered or not, right? And then after that, what you have to check is very important. You have to check demographics. Now, when I'm saying demographics, you already have said that pre-launch, but post-launch, you have to go to the campaign and you have to check that what is the audience, or one second. This part, any which ways, we are going to get again when we'll do an analysis session. But as you all already know that I don't wait for anything. If at all it's important for the current topic, I'll show it to you. But we'll come back to the analysis topic later on as well, when we have analytics altogether a different subject matter that we need to discuss. So we come over here. One thing is demographics, that comes in this in detail. The other thing is also in terms of which kind of device people are coming to your advertisements or seeing your advertisement. You need to optimize it accordingly. We have to ensure that every penny that you are spending, right? Like over here, you have to check, even if you have done a, let's suppose, Google search campaign, what percentage is coming from what? If it's from search partners, display network, or the Google search, you need to check, and then you need to optimize all these things. But this, we are need to check which device are our ads are getting triggered better, or our ads are performing better, and the numbers are performing. But there's a small thing that I would request to you all, that don't do it immediately once your ad has been triggered. Why is that so? Anyone? Allow time for the algorithm to learn your ad, to find its right set of audience, and the ad is right now in the testing mode, right? So whatever, if you do manual bidding, inaccurate data will due to the short time, yes. So even if your ad is right now triggered and you do the manual bidding, then the algorithm plays a very important role. The algorithm need to know that which of the audience would be the right fit for your ad according to, and it adjusts itself. So don't do it immediately. At least let the ad run for, the first thing you can do the next day is this SQL analysis. This you can do immediately. Then after 3-4 days, you need to do the keyword analysis. So after that, I would say do keyword analysis. Sorry, this will come after this over here. Now, keyword analysis you need to do, let's say, at least after 3 to 4 days. I would say a week, but at least 3 to 4 days you have to give. Why? because we don't know. Maybe on one fine day, some keyword has performed better, some keyword has not performed better. And basis on that analysis, if you just remove some of the keyword or add a new one, you will not get the right optimum result. So let the ad adjust, let the algorithm learn, and then algorithm will tell you that which of the keyword has performed better. Like in this case, if I don't know if I can say it right over there, I need to go to the keyword section. All the campaigns for the same brand, which of them is performing better and not sort of things. But that will get to know for the keyword for at least 3 to 4 days or at least a week time, that which of the keyword has done better, which has not done better. And then accordingly, the keyword which is performing better, you can spend more money into it or maybe optimize that better. The keyword which is not performing, maybe you can replace it with another keyword to do a try, right? Or the keyword which is not giving the right results or not numbers, not no conversions sort of thing, then you can play around. But it can't be done in, say, as I said, on the first day itself. At least give it a week time to settle it down, and that's the time you need to do it. And then after that we need to do a set of my like all these locations, like which device people are coming in. Let's say after say 10 days, 10-20 days, you need to learn about device, demographic, all sort of other, you know, uh, search platform, all these analysis to make it more accurate, that whether you are getting the right set of data point of the data audience or not. You can also do, let's say, after ad optimization at this stage, or at this stage, once your campaign is ready, that you can check that which of the ad copy or the headline, if you remember the Google ads that we have created, which of the ad copy and the headlines is performing better, delivering better results. That, and also in that this headline in the description is working better which of the keywords, right? And this alignment of, then you find a perfect ad for you, that okay, this keyword, this ad copy, and this description is most of the time giving me the maximum output or the maximum right set of results. That analysis you need to do post campaign, but also along with the time. So this you can do again after say 15 days or so. And then comes the macro matrix, which are, then after this all you can do that, what number of conversions have happened, right? Conversion rate, at which rate you got the conversion, what is your, ROI and sort of things. For this to happen, at least you need to do after a month, because after a month only you get a proper billing report, performance report, that how and in what way the overall campaign was structured and performed. 15 days you cannot say, or 20 days you can't say you can get an ROI and sort of things, or how what conversions it happen, right? So it's a phase wise that you need to do once you do a run campaign, that 1-2 days this needed to be done, then keyword analysis needed to be done, 15 days you need to do the ad copy optimization. And after a month of running a campaign, let's suppose you have to run a 3-month old campaign, so in month all this analysis needed to be done, so that for the next month when you're running a campaign, you have the best possible optimized results for you. You know exactly what worked, what didn't work, what kind of ROAS you are garnering from the campaign that you've done, what kind of conversions you should expect, and if you need to, if you what things you can leverage, if you need to make it better, where is the loop, where is the gap, and sort of things. And this is post campaign for both, like post campaign to prepare your list of audience to do the remarketing, and also to make your ad better, how, where, when to make changes to make it better. Clear? If there is any doubt, guys, please let me know. So what you need to do is that we need to take a Google Pixel. Google Pixel is nothing. Pixel in terms of Google or in terms of digital marketing or campaigns is nothing but a code. So you can say a Google code. We like more better word or technical better word which is used in the industry is called Google Pixel. right? So what we have to do is we have to take a Google Pixel for the campaign that you have run, and you have to put it on your website. So now what happen is everything that or whatever you want to track, let's suppose you want to track add to cart or you want to track anything else, can be then monitored, that from this ad, if the audience landed to the page, what they have done, how many have gone to the add to the cart or something like that. Interesting. Can we do that now? Right. So let's go to 1 second. I'll just stop sharing for now. And again, or maybe my screen is visible, right? Yeah. So this platform everyone is aware of. You all went to this in detail. We have set up campaigns. Hope you all are aware of. This is where you can create campaigns, Google Ads. Yes, we can create campaigns and all sort of things that you could do. Right. Once you have campaign running, those who say they don't remember this platform, I'm so sorry, because we have detailed. I mean, we have dedicated quite a few days for this. Right. So this is where this dashboard looks like. Yeah, great. So this is when you can go and create ad groups and all sorts of things. I'm not going to do that. Once you have a campaign running, remember I said for this strategies for paid campaign session that everything, and even then when we are doing the SEM campaign, that everything is about the goal and the objective, and that's the major macro matrix, right? So what you have to do is, let's suppose you can find a goal thing over here. Can you see, or can you all see that? Right. Once we go to goals, you will find, or maybe campaigns. Once again, let me just check, because they keep on changing some of the other things and make it difficult for the people to know. So we go to goals. Yeah. So once you go to goals, and whichever the ad you are running right now, like this is an ad right now. Can you all see this? Or I should zoom a bit. Better. So once your campaign is set, your campaign is running and sort of things or whatever, you go to this goal section, and the moment you click on this goal section, you find this create conversion action. Right. Now, once I click on this, so again, you will find that what you need to track, the website, the application, or the phone calls, or if you have a pre-detailed defined analytics already there, right? In our case, let's say I want to track. So conversion tracking is critical to successful online marketing. It let you see what people do. Sumit, to answer your, I believe you asked that, right? That so Google Pixel monitor user movement. So this is what it measures. That's why I didn't say that point in time. It lets you see what people do, the conversion action they take after seeing your ad. So whatever you will put in the tracking, it measures once they click on the ad, because after they click on the ad, they land to the landing page. Now the ad can, the Google part, when you're running an ad on SEM or whichever kind of campaign, it can only monitor that, okay, how many people have clicked, how many people have seen that. And after that, nothing, you don't know, because the person land to your website, and the control of your website is in your hand. So what people do after clicking your advertisement is what the Google Pixel can help you monitor, right? So the conversion action they take after seeing your ad, you set up one conversion action at a time. So whatever metric you want to measure, maybe add to cart, not all the actions, that's why I'm coming. One pixel or one Google tag, you can assign that tag for a measurement. Whatever you assign it for, it can measure. So how many people have added to the cart or checkout or whatever, it can monitor that. I'll show you, like we'll do a live demo, not a live demo, but I'll just explain. So let's say I go to this, select the kind of conversion you want to track. I'll click on the website tracking. And then this is where you need to put in the website or the URL of the website on which you need to put the pixel code. Otherwise, it won't work because it need to be scanned. So I remember when we were doing a website session, we made a website called, if I'm not wrong, this was the website, right? So maybe I'll take this URL and I will go over here, paste it and scan it. So website should be genuine, right? And so my website is there. Now I can create conversion action from website events and Google Analytics app events, all sort of things. Now this is where I hope everyone is able to see and understand what I'm explaining. It's very important, and maybe one of the most important part of this strategies to paid campaign session. So once we go over here, this is where you need to add the conversion action. So once you click on this, you'll find all this: add to cart, begin checkout, contact, or purchase. Whatsoever you want to track, you can track that. So let's say I want to track add to cart, or maybe I want to track purchase part, like how many people have really bought seeing my ad, or maybe, yeah, maybe begin checkout also we can check, right? Or add to cart, event type, page load, and this URL. So it's a add to cart conversion when somebody visits page on this page. Anyone visiting on this page and click on the add to cart thing for my advertisement, it will, this pixel which I'm creating will track that. Okay, so far so good. Yeah. Now this is where add creation conversion action manually, which means when I click on this, you can find a category again, like all those things. This is where you can name the conversion just for your understanding later on that what conversion I've created. So I will say add to cart, and then I will write it down over here. Say paid campaign strategy, pixel code 1, add to cart, something like that. I need to name. This is important to know for which ad or for what I am creating that code. Or maybe change it to purchase. That will be better. Just for, because at the end of the purchase is a goal. Purchase. Use different value to different conversion means you will see steps to add dynamic values to your tracking code on the next page. If you don't add this code, the default value entered here will be used. So default value is 1 rupee. So any conversion, even if it's one value purchase happen, it will measure. So you need to just add value. So I will use the same value for each conversion, which means that, even if anything beyond 1 rupee is getting purchased from my website, I will consider it as a conversion, right? Just to avoid the complications. Now, select how many conversions to count per click or interaction. So I will count every recommended for purchase, because every purchase is valuable. So not any specific, every purchase which will be happening more than a rupee one of a value, I will need to consider that as a conversion action. of purchase being achieved. Then I will go. This is very important. Right now, click-through window is nothing that many a times what happen is that whether you want to assign that purchase to your ad or not. Let's suppose somebody have seen your ad today and bought the product after 15 days or 20 days. So whether you would like to give the credit to the advertisement, maybe not, because maybe it didn't happen just after seeing the ad, but the first trigger was your ad. So you want to give that credit to the advertisement that yes, this purchase most likely would have happened because of the person have come to the clicked on the ad, they didn't buy it, but later on buy it maybe for some other reasons. But I will give the credit to that because that has opened the window. So this is where you need to decide that click through window is after till how many days. If the conversion happens, if the purchase happens after seeing the ad, you will consider it as a success or a conversion of an advertisement. So I will, so by default it's 30 days. You can change it to like 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 30 days, 45 days. I would say let's say 30 days is good enough of time. After seeing that, people at times take a month. So conversion can happen days after someone interacts with your ad. Select how much time after someone interacts with an ad you want to use to count as a conversion. So I can use maybe also 45 days depending on you how much you want to do that. Right? Once done, then you can say done. And then you can agree and continue. And you can see this account because that's not a real campaign right now. Anyone, this it can't perform an action, right? So once you agree and continue, nothing is else is left. We have done the conversion coding. What you will go get is you can get a 1 second. I will show you something like this. Something like this. Is it visible to everyone? Yeah. So once we go agree and continue, you will get a message saying this is your you get a message saying at the top you'll get a message Google Pixel code or Google tag, whatever, and this code will appear. And at the bottom you will get a message like this: add this code to your website manually. Are we clear? And a blue button will be here saying copy the code or something like that, right? All you need to do is just copy this code, this entire code that looks like a weird language to you as a script. You need to copy this code, right? So we do it, copy it. And so for this particular conversion and for whatever conversion you create, like for this conversion, I have created a code, and now it will track the purchase. Sorry, it was purchase on this website using all the values that I have added for this code, right? And this code will appear. Now, once I have to copy that, what you have to do is you have to go to the website that you have created. So you go to the dashboard section, remember? This also you all are remember. As I said, everything from day one, what we are learning will come as a link to each other. This dashboard, everyone remember, we have created the website using the WordPress dashboard. Maybe we started this in last year, December or January, I'm not sure. But I hope everyone knows that. Yeah. So what you have to do is you have to come to this dashboard. And then once you are there, what you need to do is you have to go to this section called appearance. Let me check. Under appearance, you go to this theme file editor. Yeah. See, this is an important message that this is a coding of the website. If you can know how to make direct edits to this section, then only enter. Otherwise, don't enter because it's like, the coding and it can change the entire website. So I understand. I'm taking that risk. Once you go there, you have to look for a section called header PHP. Can you see header PHP over here written? Header PHP. Click on this. And once you click on this, you see the entire website coding will open in front of you, right? This is the entire website which I have created so far. And this is the head section of the website. Now, all you need to do is before, if I'll do this, right? Before this section, can you see this head closing mention over here? If you guys will say yes or no, it will be better because my focus more is on the screen. So I don't know if you guys are following it or not. Just after this, just before this section, before the head ends and the body starts, you have to go here, make an enter, and in this line you have to paste the code. Can you see I have pasted the Google script code over here, and that's it. Once you update the file, this script will now be the part of your overall coding of the website. And now you can get tracking on the Google Analytics for everything for the purchase happening. For even if after 40 days, 30 days, whatsoever the number you have added, if purchase happened after seeing the ad, it will be considered as that the conversion has that particular conversion has happened after seeing your ad. So we are building a set of data that how many purchases have happened after seeing the ad, after how many days, and what had happened. Makes sense to everyone? Is it absolutely clear? I am not updating this file because I don't have this website is not an e-commerce website. I just showed it to you how to do that, right? I'll just go back, leave without adding the code to it. Yes, no, all good, interesting, insightful, learning something. I know it's technical a bit, but I hope it's good use for you all. So I have prepared a checklist for Google advertisement. This is like a bit of manual work from I have to done, but I thought it's good for you all. I'll share this at the end of the session today as well. So a checklist for Google, what you need to do, Facebook also, what you need to do, and some of the best practices that you have to follow for both Google paid campaigns and Facebook campaigns. You can keep it handy. I'll just explain it a bit. One second. Thank you, Jitendra. Just allow me a second. This this document which is there of some easy stuff I know you all are aware of, but it's handy for you to later on use. Like define campaign objective, description, keyword research you need to do, set a budget like a pre campaign things, choose campaign type that you have done earlier. Remember whether it want to be a search based campaign or just a lead based campaign or performance max, whatever. Set location and targeting, define your audience in detail, audience demographics, behavior, and what all sense. Then, most importantly, create ad groups. So it's like a step-by-step guide that you need to do when you have to do a Google advertisement. So create ad groups, organize your ads into ad groups based on similar themes of keywords, write ad copies, design ad creative, set your bidding appropriate, and choose ad extensions. Ad extensions, whom will tell you what is ad extensions? Anyone? We have done this part earlier. With this kind of response, I don't know whether we are doing activity today or not. I can't see anyone speaking apart from. Yes, site links and call outs. At least Jitendra have mentioned. Thank you. So then you need to do the ad scheduling, and then you need to implement tracking, right? So this is what we have learned. And then after that, we have to review, like you have to enable ad rotation, choose targeting methods, review your final settings, launch of the campaign, and then check all those things whether we have discussed today is working or not. Similarly, we go to Facebook. This is where you need to define the campaign objective, not the keyword analysis. Like in this, we have to do keyword analysis. Over here, you need to do the audience, identify target audience, a set budget, choose ad campaign objective, and ad sets, and then all those things over here that we need to implement, learn, and sort of things do. Uh, and then we have some of the best practices. When what is needed to do is that conduct audience and competitor research before launching the campaign. We have done this we have explained this more in detail in this session, how to do that, to and why that is needed to be done. Over here somewhere, over here, so that I will that also have added into that. Define clear objective or KPI to measure campaign success, use high quality images, implement tracking mechanism, use analytics, ensure compliance with Google ads policies, similar to on Facebook. Also Facebook ad policies, monitor campaign regularly. When and say that how to monitor the performance, mention it out, that when to do what, from SQR analysis to keyword analysis to micrometrics analysis and all sort of things, and then macrometrics analysis. So all those regular analysis of the campaign that we need to do over here, and then optimize the landing pages for conversation. That also I have shared. In fact, we have given a tool also, which is called Unbounce, for you all to learn. So this is the kind of a good checklist that I've created. Every time that you have to do a Facebook campaign or a Google campaign, you can follow this procedure and also find some of the best practices that you must be doing to make it a good, reasonable campaign. Make sense to everyone? I will share this link as well with you all. Right? Okay. Similar to Google, since we have to track, as I said, we have to track everything from Google, that what is happening and where it is going and all sort of things. We also need to, similarly, if you're running an ad on Facebook, you can show the ad on Facebook, somebody click on that, and once they land on the website, what they will do, you want to know, right? Also, you want to know that whether the add to cart thing done by the audience, that audience has come from seeing a Google ad or a Facebook ad, if both the ads are running together, right? That's also an important question, that what will happen to the Facebook audience if they will click on my advertisement. So there also we have a solution. Again, I'll just stop sharing a bit for a bit, and then I'll go here. And then, okay, so now what you have to do is that, you see this again, you all remember this platform as well, this Facebook ads manager or meta ads manager. We have been to this platform, everyone remember that, right? Now let's say this is where you can create the ad. You can do multiple ads over here, do everything and sort of things. You can also, which ads, there are few ads which has already been created, already been there, might be running sort of thing. So that part I'm not going to. Now similar to the Google pixel that we have created, similarly we can also do for Meta. We can create Meta pixel and then imbibe that into the ad campaign that we are running, to monitor that whatever Facebook campaign that we are running from for my brand, what is happening to that, right? So what we have to do is, we go here, and on this dashboard you'll find a lot of buttons over here. You have to find all tools, right? So maybe I'll zoom a bit again for you all. You have to find this section called all tools. Click on that all tools, and that's when you have to find for a section called, let me just check, business. Yeah, it's on the top, business setting. So on all tools you have to go to business settings, and once you go to your business setting, you will see who all are the active members to run the advertisement. So I mean, this is inactive right now, but you can check all that. And this is where you have to look for a section called data sources. Can you all see this? Data sources. So I click on data sources, and just under the data sources you'll find a tab called pixels, right? So I'll click on pixels. Pixels have a new location. We have made some changes to our platform. Why they keep on changing the platform, which I don't understand, but it's okay. They made it easy. So earlier the pixel was just once upon clicking the data source pixel, you used to get pixel. Now they have changed the location of pixels. So we have made some changes to our platform. You now can locate this asset in the data set section. So this is data set section within the data source menu. So we can go to data sets now, either this or we can click from here. Go to data sets. And this is where you will find the data set. So if it's a running campaign, you'll find this data sets over here, any which way is running. Or if you want to create a different data set altogether, you can also create it. So if you just have to, I believe, maybe zoom out a bit, you can see add. So you can click on add and you can create a data set over here. Just name it and like, or you can select existing data set as well, whatever you have. So let's say if I want to paid strategy 13th April, next, right? So it's already here, right? So, and you can see a person who has full control. So it's me who is having full control for this ad campaign and that this data set. You can also assign other people whom you want to give access to, those who are on this page. You can do all that to manage the data tracking and everything else. So once I click on this paid strategy or whichever data set, then what you have to do is we have to find this three dots over here. Click on this and it will open as a pop-up window saying open in events manager. So I'll open in events manager. And yeah, boom. So now you get these all this stuff over here, share data stored in CSV file, link an application, and also say things. Among this, you will find something like gather website event from browser activity, send events and parameters from a website using a metapixel code snippet. This method would only allows website event to be sent. Browser events can be limited due to the privacy preserving technologies. So what I have to do is set up metapixel, and then there are two things. One is either you can check a partner. So partners like Shopify, WordPress, if you are having a paid platform like Shopify and WordPress, paid form of it, you can directly link that with this. So you can see use partner integration. So if you have a paid platform through which or meta code is also aligning with it, you can just click on that, provide the details, and the integration will happen seamlessly without manually doing it. We do not have a WordPress paid version, how we made the website. So in that case you can also set that code manually. So both ways, automatically you can also do that and manually also you can do that. Am I so far so clear to for everyone? Absolute understanding in that? No doubts, confusions, right? And then I'll do manually install code manually. And yes, so similar to this also, what we didn't get over here in Google, almost similar to this you get like something like this. Copy this code and the code here, the metapixel code here we will get Google Pixel code. So again, what you have to do is you have to copy the code. Once you copy it, I can show you how it looks over here when I paste it. See, so much like Google code, it's a metapixel code. Similarly, like how the Google Pixel code is, this is metapixel code and end of the metapixel code. So again, I go here. I have copied it. Now what you have to do is the same thing again, that since we are doing it manually, you have to go to the website, you have to go to the appearance, and then under that, you have to find theme file editor, look for header.php file, and once again, you have to look for this part. So this is where the head is closing, and that's when I have to put like a section here, enter, and paste this meta code. So now this meta code is also pasted over there. If I update it, the code will be active and it will track whatever is traffic coming from Facebook ads to my website and what they are doing, it will seamlessly capture those stuff. The metapixel code is a bit easier. You don't have to assign a lot of many things. It just automatically covers all the things because it is based on the user behavior and demographic and sort of things, not based on the keyword.
And with that, we have come to the end of this course. If you have any doubts or questions, you can ask them in the comment section below. Our team of experts will reply to you as soon as possible. Thank you and keep learning with Simplilearn.